The Throne of the Mechas. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1151. It's better to resolve a feud than to create one. The volcano planet is very large, twice the size of the Earth. The surface of the planet is covered with volcanoes. There are volcanic eruptions every moment, and the magma flows and converges into a lava sea. The temperature of the entire planet is extremely high, and it is not suitable for human survival. The entire planet is wrapped in a layer of steaming red mist, and black clouds are rolling in the atmosphere. The situation inside the planet cannot be observed from the outside space. The oxygen content in the air of the planet is extremely low, and it is full of the pungent smell of sulfur. In short, this is a desolate planet that is not suitable for human survival. From the perspective of the entire universe, humans are a race with extremely poor adaptability. However, where humans cannot survive, there will still be life, and even intelligent life will be born. In the eyes of humans, the environment of the volcano planet is extremely harsh. However, in the eyes of Flame Louis, returning to the volcano planet is like returning to his home planet. It is very comfortable, and the pores all over the body are stretched out, which is indescribably comfortable. Suddenly, the clouds above split, revealing the long-lost bright starry sky, and a meteorite broke through the sky and fell on the lava sea. Meteorite? No. It's our Sun Clan's meteorite spaceship. Flame Louis was resting, but when he saw this, he jumped up. Flame Louis immediately ordered the spaceship to take off and approach the crash site of the meteorite spaceship. When the spaceship was still 10 kilometers away from the crash site, Flame Louis' eyes blurred and a tall, red-skinned man appeared in front of him. "Uncle, why are you here?" Flame Louis recognized the man, his uncle, the Sun Clan's peerless genius Luman. Luman was recognized as a strong man in the Sun Clan. At a young age, he entered the Elders Council and became the Sun Clan's chief elder, with tremendous power in his hands. Luman was known as the Great Brave in the Sun Clan, and his combat power was equivalent to that of a legendary mecha master. Such a big man suddenly appeared on the volcano star, and Flame Louis was surprised and happy. What was surprising was that Flame Louis couldn't figure out that Luman came without notice and suddenly arrived on the volcano star. He must have some instructions. The good news is that with Luman as his backer, he no longer has to fear Xia Xingchen, Great Elder. At this moment, the other members of the Liang tribe on the spaceship saw Luman suddenly appear, and they knelt down and said respectfully, "In such an alien starry sky, there is no need to be polite." Luman raised his hand slightly and asked the tribe members to stand up. Luyi. Luman looked at his nephew and said in a deep voice, "The mother planet is in trouble. You are the son of the tribe leader. I'm taking you back at the order of my brother. Liang. Luyi's father is the current tribe leader of the Liang tribe, Luming. The mother planet is in trouble." Luyi was stunned for a moment, and without thinking too much, he said in a deep voice, "Okay. We will go back to the mother planet immediately." "Yes. Luyi, I haven't seen you for so long. You have grown up. Like a man. You are responsible." Luman nodded gently, with a look of relief on his face. At this moment, thunder rumbled. The clouds above the volcano star dispersed, as if a crack in the sky had been opened, and a huge warship 10,000 meters long appeared above the volcano star. "Flame Louis, come to see me." Xia Xingchen's voice echoed over the entire volcano star, overbearing. "Ah. Xia Xingchen. Xia Xingchen is chasing me in the star domain arc. Why? I'm just a nobody. Why are you targeting me?" Flame Louis' body was trembling. When he heard Xia Xingchen's voice, he remembered the humiliating scene of being beaten. "Nephew, who is that? Who scared you so much?" Luman frowned slightly. Louis was the only son of the clan leader. He was inevitably spoiled since childhood. He himself was also arrogant and did whatever he wanted since childhood. It was for this reason that clan leader Luming reluctantly gave up and sent Louis to the Chaos Star domain, wanting him to venture out and grow up here. In Luman's heart, Louis was still the devil who did whatever he wanted. Who could make Louis so scared? "Ah, uncle." Louis said hurriedly, "The man who came is called Xia Xingchen. He used to be a senior military official of the Human Galactic Empire. It is said that he is also a marquis. His fiancée is the princess of the empire. I have some minor conflicts with him, but I didn't expect that he would be so persistent and chase me to my house. This is clearly not taking you seriously. Uncle, please do it for me and teach this arrogant villain a lesson. Xia Xingchen, Marquis, senior military official, husband of the princess of the empire. Hearing Xia Xingchen's series of identities, Lu Man's face became colder and colder, and his brows were tightly furrowed. Immediately, Lu Man smiled. Lu Yi, you don't have to use me as a shield. Even if Xia Xingchen is arrogant, he can't know that I have arrived at the volcano star. How can you not take me seriously? Don't provoke me. I won't be fooled by such tricks. But uncle, Louis wanted to defend himself. No need to say more. Lu Man waved his hand fiercely, interrupting Lu Yi's words. Since it's just a small incident, then you should explain it to him clearly. It's better to resolve a feud than to create one. Also, when I came out this time, the clan leader specifically told me not to mess with humans. Especially high-ranking human nobles like Xia Xingchen, who must not be messed with, otherwise our clan will be in calamity. Uncle, Lu Yi felt very wronged. He really didn't expect that his uncle would not only not stand up for him, but actually turn his elbow outward and ask him to apologize to Xia Xingchen. Cowardly. It was really too cowardly. Why don't you go now? Lu Man's eyes widened, and his face showed anger. Lu Yi shuddered with fear, and he suddenly remembered the horror of his uncle. It can be said that in the entire Liang clan, Lu Yi is not afraid of anyone, including his father Lu Ming. However, Lu Yi is only afraid of Lu Man. It is precisely for this reason that the Elders Council sent Lu Man to take Lu Yi back. Okay, I apologize. But if the other party doesn't accept it, I can't do anything about it. Louis made up his mind, gritted his teeth, and walked out of the spaceship. In order to show his sincerity, Louis did not drive the mecha, but drove a small airship, flying towards the star domain arc that covered the sky. Lu Man looked at Louis' figure going away and smiled slightly. You have grown up. You have grown up. Don't worry. With me here, no one dares to let my Liang tribe suffer. Swish. When the small airship was in the air, a white light shone from the star domain arc, covering the airship. The next moment, Louis was shocked to find that he had actually arrived inside the spaceship. Xia Xingchen was not driving the mecha, but sitting on a silver high-back chair, looking at him with a smile. Short distance teleportation? Louis was extremely shocked. The level of technology displayed by Xia Xingchen was far beyond his imagination. I'm actually against such a terrifying person? Louis' heart trembled, and he looked up at Xia Xingchen. Louis, I didn't expect that you would dare to face me alone. The Star Pirate Overlord is a Star Pirate Overlord. You are quite courageous. Xia Xingchen showed admiration on his face. Chapter 1152 Rock Life. Louis raised his head and looked at Xia Xingchen with an arrogant look. The Fiery Sun Clan, named after the rising sun in the sky, is an extremely arrogant and insolent race. What are you so arrogant about? Prisoner. Watch your attitude. You are just a star pirate. Kneel down when you see the Marquis. The members of the Blood Demon group guarded Xia Xingchen with weapons in hand to protect Xia Xingchen's safety. Seeing the arrogant look of Fiery Louis, the Blood Demons were angry and shouted loudly. During the siege of Beta Star, the Blood Demon group suffered a lot at the hands of Fiery Louis. Seeing the enemy who once fought on the battlefield, it is natural to be jealous. Xia Xingchen did not speak, but just raised his hand slightly, and everyone immediately shut up and was silent. There was silence in the room. Xia Xingchen lowered his head and looked at Louis Flame. He pointed to the seat beside him with a smile and said, Lord Louis, I admire your courage. You are a brave man. Please take a seat. Humph. Louis Flame did not expect that Xia Xingchen would treat him with courtesy. Is there any conspiracy? He snorted coldly and sat down next to Xia Xingchen with a rude attitude. If you have something to say it quickly. I'm still receiving guests and have no time to talk nonsense with you. Lord Louis. Xia Xingchen's eyebrows twitched slightly. This Louis Flame is really rude. If you are a little polite to him and give him a little color, the dyeing factory will be opened. However, Xia Xingchen is asking for help now. Although he and Louis Flame met on the battlefield, there is no core contradiction between the two sides. Louis Flame was just deceived by the messenger of God and waded into this muddy water. Xia Xingchen has made plans to use courtesy first and then force. If Flame Louis refused to give out the information about the three-legged crow, Xia Xingchen would not mind letting him have a taste of the torture that has been passed down by humans for thousands of years. Okay, then I'll get straight to the point. Xia Xingchen was too lazy to waste words. I heard that the three-legged crow is the sacred beast of your Liang clan. I want to build a Suzuki mecha, and I must use the materials from the three-legged crow. Tell me the information about the three-legged crow, and you can name any price. Three-legged crow. Who told you that? When Flame Louis heard the name, his face changed immediately. He looked at Xia Xingchen in surprise, and didn't speak for a long time, but his body was shaking slightly. That's right, the Liang clan has been worshipping the three-legged crow for generations. On the home planet of the Liang clan, there are temples of the three-legged crow everywhere, and huge statues of the three-legged crow are worshipped. The three-legged crow is the Liang clan's god of light, the sun god, and also the god of destruction. For the Liang clan, the three-legged crow is more of a demon beast than a sacred beast. A fable is widely circulated among the Liang clan. The demon god in the sun appears, scorching the earth, and will destroy the entire Liang clan. A brave alien descended from the sky. Xia Xingchen wants to hunt the three-legged crow? Louis almost laughed out loud. The three-legged crow lives in the stars. The temperature there is as high as 5,000 degrees, or even tens of thousands of degrees, which is almost a forbidden zone for all life. With Xia Xingchen's human body, it was burned to charcoal before it approached the stars. The Liang clan is different from humans. They are not carbon-based creatures. They are rock life. Their muscles and bones are made of rocks. Their brains are hot and boiling fireballs. Magma flows in their blood vessels. They use radioactive rocks in the core of the earth as food, and survive on the energy provided by minerals. The Liang clan has a long history and an evolutionary process of hundreds of millions of years. According to their historical records, they are not some kind of high-tech creation. The existence of the Liang clan is the result of natural evolution. The earliest rock life was the basic particles of life formed accidentally by special minerals under the action of radioactivity. However, even the Liang clan with rock bodies could not withstand the high temperature of stars. Even though they knew that the three-legged golden crow lived in the star next to the mother star and would bring disasters from time to time, they were helpless. Xia Xingchen wanted to hunt the three-legged golden crow? Is he crazy? Xia Xingchen's information was unknown from where, but there were some deviations. The three-legged golden crow is a demon beast, and a god of destruction. It is not the sacred beast that Xia Xingchen imagined that the Liang clan worshipped. Louis pursed his lips, endured his smile, and thought to himself, this deviation seems to be exploitable. It is a good opportunity to teach him a lesson. Marquis. Louis' face changed continuously, and finally calmed down, and said seriously, no matter where you got the news from, the three-legged golden crow is indeed the sacred beast of my clan. You ask me to set a price and sell my sacred beast. Do you look down on me, Lian Louis? Xia Xingchen was silent for a while. Xia Xingchen understood the position of religious belief in the hearts of believers. The three-legged golden crow is the totem of the Fiery Sun clan. A human wanted to hunt the totem sacred beast of the Fiery Sun clan. It was beyond his expectation that Lian Louis did not fly into a rage and jump up to fight Xia Xingchen. But, I must catch the three-legged golden crow, no matter what the price. Even if it means going to war with the Fiery Sun clan. Xia Xingchen's pupils suddenly shrank, and a strong murderous aura permeated his body. Louis shuddered. Xia Xingchen was definitely not just talking. He might really be ready to destroy the Fiery Sun clan. With the technological level of the Star Domain Arc, Xia Xingchen had the strength and courage to say this. My Lord Marquis, please calm down. Louis didn't want to make things worse, because his words would bring disaster to his own race, so he quickly said, I can't make the decision on such a big matter. Fortunately, my uncle is on the volcano star. He is the great elder of my race. He will definitely give you a satisfactory answer. Great elder of the Liang clan. Okay, you go and invite the senior over. Xia Xingchen's expression eased a little, and he spoke very politely. Xia Xingchen was not a person who liked killing. If he couldn't reach an agreement with the Liang clan, they would swear to protect the sacred beast, the three-legged golden crow, to the death. Then Xia Xingchen would have to give up. He was not so cruel as to destroy an intelligent race, just to make his own mecha. Yes, sir. Louis was delighted, and quickly left the Star Domain arc. Louis drove the airship back to the ground of Volcano Star. In the cabin, he slapped himself twice, leaving his face bruised, and his clothes torn, but a vicious smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Xia Xingchen. These 2 slaps will also be remembered on your head. Back on the spaceship, Louis looked miserable, with blood on the corner of his mouth and several teeth missing. He threw himself at his uncle's feet and cried, "Uncle, Xia Xingchen insulted me, insulted our Liang clan. I have suffered humiliation. You must stand up for me." Chapter 1153 The Battle Between Strong Men. Nephew, are you telling the truth? Lu Man's face was at hen, and his robe was fluttering without wind. Compared with humans, the Liang clan is a small race. However, they also have dignity, and cannot be bullied by humans. Every word is true. Louis hated Xia Xingchen to the core, and he was trying to sow discord between them. In front of his uncle, he said many encouraging words. Lu Man was originally very angry, but after hearing Louis' encouraging words, he calmed down, and a cold smile appeared on his face. Lu Man is the most outstanding warrior of the Liang clan. His IQ and strength are equally outstanding. The more Louis said and exaggerated, the more Lu Man felt the incitement in his words. After calming down and thinking carefully, Lu Man figured out that, if Xia Xingchen was really as bad and fierce as his nephew said, how could he just slap him a few times? And then let him go back like this? Louis, stop talking. You're going to ask Xia Xingchen for forgiveness. We, the Liang clan, can't afford to offend the big shots in the human empire. Lu Man said coldly. Uncle, what did you say? Louis almost doubted his ears. No need to say more about this. Lu Man waved his hand. If you can't bring yourself to do that, I'll take you to Xia Xingchen to apologize. Louis seemed to be struck by thunder, his body shaking, his teeth clenched tightly, and there was only anger in his chest. Swish. Louis suddenly looked up at his uncle and said through gritted teeth, Uncle, there are some things I don't want to say, but even if my clan is insulted, you don't stand up for me, which is really chilling. Xia Xingchen personally asked for the clues of the three-legged golden crow. He wants to wake up the sleeping god of destruction. Three-legged golden crow. Lu Man's whole body stiffened, and his face changed suddenly. Nephew, is what you said true? Lu Man felt incredible. He wants to awaken the three-legged crow? What good will this do for him? If the three-legged crow really awakens, our clan will surely be doomed. Lu Man had doubts in his heart. The reason why he traveled thousands of miles and drove the meteorite spaceship to the chaotic starfield to find Lu Yi back was because the high priest of the clan predicted that the three-legged crow would awaken and bring endless disasters to the mother planet. Lu Man did not tell Lu Yi this, but just told him in general that the mother planet was in trouble and asked him to go back quickly. However, Lu Yi inexplicably mentioned the three-legged crow. Is this a coincidence? Or, the human named Xia Xingchen is the villain who awakened the three-legged crow of the god of destruction and the high priest's prophecy? If you don't believe it, you can question Xia Xingchen in person. Lu Yi shouted angrily. Okay, I'll go ask right away. Lu Man's figure flashed, and he arrived at a crater, emitting a dazzling red light. The meteorite spaceship below suddenly flew up and scattered into rocks in the air, and then condensed on his body, turning into a huge rock armor 50 meters high. The human body is fragile, and it needs to drive a mecha to exert its combat power. The body of the Liang clan is made of rock, which is naturally hard. However, unlike the demons, they can continuously strengthen their bodies through training. The strength of the people of the Liang clan is divided into different levels, similar to humans, and is also based on mental power. The higher the mental power, the stronger the ability to control rocks. A larger and heavier rock armor can be condensed on the body. This armor looks similar to human mechas from the outside, but in fact, it is very different. A huge armor condensed on Lu Man's body, like a scorching sun slowly rising from the crater, floating in the air, emitting a dark red light, blazing and dazzling. In the center of the light group, a tall human figure was inlaid, like a god descending. Xia Xingchen, I ask you, are you looking for the three-legged crow? Lu Man's voice reverberated between heaven and earth. Are you Louis uncle? Senior, I really need to find the three-legged crow. Xia Xingchen squinted his eyes, looking at the great warrior of the Liang clan in the sky, feeling a strong sense of oppression. Ivaldoa, you actually want to awaken the three-legged crow and destroy our Liang clan? Get out and die. Lu Man's voice was like thunder, extremely angry, with a strong murderous intent in his words. Lu Man didn't believe Louis' words at first, but he got confirmation from Xia Xingchen. If the three-legged crow awakens, the Liang clan will surely die. His chest was filled with murderous intent, and he wanted to eliminate Xia Xingchen, the hidden danger, immediately. The sacred beast of the Liang clan is indeed not to be touched. Xia Xingchen also misunderstood, thinking that Lu Man was angry because he wanted to hunt the sacred beast of the Liang clan. There's no point in reasoning. We can only fight first. Capture this great elder and get clues from him. If he refuses to tell me, then I can only give up. Xia Xingchen had already made up his mind. Swish. The Azure Dragon mech was taken out from the portable space and appeared in front of Xia Xingchen. Xingchen, are you going to fight this alien? Jaina hugged Xia Xingchen from behind, her eyes reluctant. Jaina, don't worry. I just want to have a fight with him. Xia Xingchen knew that Jaina was concerned about her and smiled gently. You must be careful. Jaina whispered, that alien looks scary. He is indeed not a mediocre person. But I want to try. Xia Xingchen smiled, stroking Jaina's soft black hair, and the desire to fight was boiling in his heart. A flash of white light passed by, and the Azure Dragon mech was directly teleported to the outside of the Star Domain Arc, facing Lu Man, a strong man from the Liang clan. On the Star Domain Arc, Li Huami, Tixing, the Khan family, and the Blood Demon group were all standing in front of the porthole, waiting to watch this fierce battle. On the Volcano Star, Louis also led the Star Pirates of the Liang clan, looking up at the two people in the sky, wanting to see Xia Xingchen being beaten to a pulp. In the air, Lu Man was wrapped in rock armor all over his body, looking like a towering mountain floating in the air, emitting a red light, and the aura revealed by his body was extremely terrifying. Xia Xingchen, I heard that you are a strong man among humans. I will come to see what you humans can do. Lu Man's eyes were fixed on Xia Xingchen. When he was still 10 kilometers away from the Qinglang Mecha, he suddenly made a move and threw out 3 hot stone balls with a diameter of 10 meters in his hand. They burned red and made a hissing sound in the air, and the white mist boiled. His attack was very powerful, shaking the heaven and earth. He was furious and wanted to burn Xia Xingchen to ashes from a distance. The attack was powerful and the stone balls flew through the air, carrying a violent sonic boom, obviously exceeding the speed of sound. Xia Xingchen drove the Qinglang Mecha. His face sank into the water, his eyes were deep, and the wings of the sky behind the Mecha moved slightly, making evasive movements in the air to avoid the 3 stone balls. With the speed of the Qinglang Mecha and Xia Xingchen's reaction, even dense laser beams can be dodged, not to mention the stones flying at the speed of sound. In Xia Xingchen's eyes, they are slower than a snail. Chapter 1154, Doomsday Battle. The speed is average. In the Qinglang Mech, Xia Xingchen dodged Lu Man's attack with a smile. Boom boom boom. There was a violent explosion behind Xia Xingchen, and waves of air rushed over. The Qinglang Mech also lost its balance slightly in the air. Xia Xingchen's face was surprised. He turned his head and took a breath of cold air. The volcano behind him erupted, the flames were raging, and countless magma rushed out, covering the sky. A long dormant active volcano was hit by 3 hot stone balls, causing a huge explosion, which directly caused a volcanic eruption. The momentum was extremely shocking, like the end of the world. On the volcanic planet, there were volcanoes everywhere. The eruption of a volcano immediately caused a chain reaction. The surrounding volcanoes also began to erupt. Thick black smoke covered the sky, as if night had fallen. Black smoke, blazing lava, hot stones flying everywhere. This scene was extremely horrifying, and everyone was terrified. On the Star Domain Arc, everyone gasped when they saw this scene. The strength of the elder of the Liang clan was indeed terrifying. Although the speed of his attack was not fast, His attack power was very amazing. He actually caused a volcanic eruption, which looked like a scene of world destruction. Let me ask, among humans, what level of strong people can compete with him? Legend. Only legend. Legendary mecha masters have the power of the planet. With the power of one person, driving a mecha, they can change the topography, climate, and ecology of the planet. Lu Man's attack just now was extremely powerful. Several originally majestic volcanoes were instantly submerged by magma and completely disappeared on the earth. It can be seen that his strength is similar to that of a legendary mecha master. In the sky, Lu Man stood in front of a erupting volcano. Hot rocks kept falling from the sky like a meteor shower. But these rocks turned into powder before they touched Lu Man's body. The body of the Liang clan is made of mineral rocks, and they are born with the ability to control rocks. The aura on Lu Man's body became more and more terrifying, suffocating. Uncle. So awesome. You are worthy of being the first genius of our tribe. Louis, who was below, couldn't help but smile and look very happy when he saw the might brought by Lu Man's attack. He hoped that Lu Man would kill Xia Xingchen and put an end to the trouble forever. The other members of the Liang tribe also took a deep breath. They all had the ability to control rocks, but it was like a dream to want to cause a volcanic eruption with one blow like Lu Man. You retreat and hide in the spaceship in order not to be affected. Lu Man lowered his head and said to Louis and others. Lu Man was a strict person and always looked down on the domineering Louis. However, at the critical moment, he still cared about the safety of his nephew. This was a relationship of blood thicker than water. Even though the Liang tribe was made of iron and stone, they also had feelings and cared about family ties, which was not much different from humans. Lu Man did not continue to attack because he knew that, although his attack was powerful, it was too slow and could not hurt Xia Xingchen, who reacted as fast as lightning. He could only wait for him to get close. Human. I treated you with courtesy, but you intended to awaken the three-legged golden crow. Kneel down and apologize immediately, and I will spare your life. Lu Man's tone was cold and arrogant. His eyes glowed with red light, and he stared at Xia Xingchen coldly. Sure. In response, a silver double helix spear made a sharp sound in the air and lashed at Lu Man's face. Xia Xingchen was secretly annoyed. Spiral patterns floated on the double helix spear, twitching fiercely and screaming piercingly. He had wanted to reason with this great elder of the Liang clan. He didn't expect that he would ask him to kneel down when they met. It was too arrogant. Bang! A sharp sound of metal and stone burst out. Lu Man waved his hand, and two huge stone axes appeared in his hand. The surface was uneven, and there was red lava flowing on the blade, as if it was condensed from the hottest core of the earth. The two huge stone axes burst into dazzling flashes, and collided with the double helix spear in Xia Xingchen's hand. A mecha and a rock armor that looked like a mecha. Under the background of countless volcanic lava splashing, the two sides kept fighting, and the two sides kept staggering and changing positions. The sound of metal collision was deafening. Energy collided, and mushroom clouds continued to bloom. The battle was extremely fierce. There were bursts of sonic booms in the air, and the light was dazzling, which made the terrifying power of the volcanic eruption even worse. Blocked. Xia Xingchen was able to tie with this elder of the Liang clan. Great. The strength of the Marquis is really unfathomable. On the Star Domain arc, many people were amazed, and then they all felt their blood boiling. Normally, it is common for two mechas to fight fiercely and make people dizzy. Even if 2D level mecha masters are on the mecha arena, they can dazzle people with their frequent combat skills. However, the higher the strength of the mecha master, the battle becomes a fight between gods. Either the speed is fast, and the naked eye can't catch it at all. Either the two sides would use laser cannons to bombard each other, to see who had more energy reserves, and more powerful weapons. Of course, more often, it was a one-sided massacre. Although they were both S-class mecha masters, their strengths varied greatly due to many factors such as their mental attributes, levels, and mecha performance. It was very rare for them to be so evenly matched as they were now, and it was a feast for the eyes of everyone. How is it possible? My uncle personally took action, but he didn't kill Xia Xingchen in an instant. Instead, the fight was a close one. On the ground of Volcano Star, Louis was shocked. He knew his uncle's strength very well. He was the most talented of the Liang clan. In the past, when facing enemies, he would crush them directly and win without any chance. However, Xia Xingchen was fearless and fought Lu Man to a close one. How is it possible? Even if Xia Xingchen is an S-class mecha master, even if he has comprehended the domain, even if he can kill Blackbeard whose strength has suddenly soared. But my uncle is the pride of the Liang clan. The two of them are not on the same plane at all. Louis was completely stunned. The Liang clan, although there are only a few people, however, they are definitely not a weak race with weak strength in the Milky Way. Weak races have all been conquered by humans' giant warships and cannons. And the Liang clan can still ensure that their planet is not colonized by humans. This shows that the strength of the Liang clan is extraordinary. Lu Man's strength is comparable to that of a human legendary mecha master, and is even stronger than an ordinary legendary mecha master. But now, one-on-one, without any interference, he actually tied with Xia Xingchen. Not only that, Louis could see that his uncle did not deliberately let him win. The battle between the two sides was very fierce. Weapons collided, flashes of light continued to erupt. Countless volcanoes on the planet were shaken by the energy and began to erupt. The entire planet burned into a sea of fire. The void was slightly distorted and the space was almost broken. This Xia Xingchen, when he attacked me, did he leave some leeway and not be too ruthless? Louis' face turned pale, with stormy waves rising in his heart. Chapter 1155, Fire Scale Armor. Boom. After a blazing sun-like light, two figures in the air suddenly separated by an erupting volcano. Xia Xingchen was driving the Azure Dragon Mecha, with beads of sweat on his forehead. The Azure Dragon Mecha's outer star-devouring armor was severely damaged, and was burned to pieces by the lava. However, the star-devouring armor had a strong recovery ability. Under the energy supply of the Thunder Heart, it was wriggling at a speed visible to the naked eye, and recovering to its original appearance. On the other side, Lu Man's rock armor was also destroyed and tattered, and he didn't get any advantage from Xia Xingchen. It's really against the sky. Xia Xingchen frowned slightly. What kind of material is the armor on his body? It's too hard. I used all my strength, but I couldn't break it completely. Xia Xingchen didn't know that Lu Man's heart was also horrified at this moment. He has been galloping in the Star Sea for decades, and challenged countless strong men. It's the first time he has been beaten so badly as today. Lu Man realized that, although he kept saying that he was afraid of humans, and didn't dare to be an enemy of humans, he still had a strong sense of pride in his heart. Facing Xia Xingchen, he thought he had given enough attention, but now it seems that he still underestimated this young human. Humans are indeed a terrifying race in the universe. They have super strong reproductive ability and a terrifyingly short growth cycle. The most terrifying thing is their technology called mecha. This terrifying steel weapon has allowed humans, who were originally weak in the flesh, to become the overlords of the galaxy. Terrifying, extremely terrifying. Lu Man sucked in a breath of cold air, his eyes full of astonishment. Although the individual members of the Liang clan are powerful, their reproductive ability is very poor. In addition, the growth cycle of the Liang clan is very long. It takes 50 to 70 years to be considered an adult. For example, Lu Man is now over 200 years old, but in the Liang clan, he is still a junior, a young genius. Every race in the Milky Way has its advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage of humans is that their lifespan is too short and the method of knowledge memory inheritance is too primitive. Come again. Kill. Lu Man shouted loudly. He was a genius of the Liang clan. He should have been able to crush the enemy with ease. He didn't expect that he would end up in a draw, which made him lose face. In an instant, the rock armor on Lu Man's body burst into a dazzling red light, and a red light column penetrated the sky and the earth. Boom. Lu Man's pupils were full of bloodshot. He waved the huge stone axe with both hands. The red light spread across the sky and turned into dazzling light and shadow. The scene was extremely terrifying. Dang dang dang. The King Lang Mecha held the double helix spear in both hands. It was not afraid. It kept colliding with the stone axe, making a series of collision sounds. The two attacked as fast as thunder. Lu Man became more and more courageous as the battle went on. The huge stone axe kept slashing horizontally and vertically. Magma splashed, Flames sprayed, and the axe shadow turned into a wall of fire. It was too fast. Every attack contained an extremely violent and terrifying force. Boom. Sparks flew everywhere, and there was a violent explosion. The double helix spear in Xia Xingchen's hand was not a physical entity after all. During the fierce attack, it exceeded the limit of carrying energy, and broke into scattered light points. However, Xia Xingchen poured his spiritual power into the black bracelet, and a spear was immediately condensed. Lu Man's stone axe broke into a huge gap, which made him very distressed, and his eyes red. Can't lose. Can't lose. Lu Man screamed in his heart, looking up at Xia Xingchen above his head and the huge starfield arc behind him. Lu Man couldn't suppress Xia Xingchen. What's more, behind Xia Xingchen was such a terrifying, huge warship with incredible technology. Lu Man felt a glimmer of despair. Humans. Humans are too powerful. But, I can't lose. Lu Man's weakness only lasted for a moment, and then he immediately became as hard as stone. Behind me is the entire Liang clan. I absolutely cannot let this human villain awaken the sleeping three-legged golden crow. I must defeat him. Lu Man's heart burst out with a strong belief, and the huge stone axe in his hand suddenly accelerated, dancing into a huge vortex, madly chopping at the azure dragon mecha. The red axe light crisscrossed and agitated, dazzling. Below Lu Man, another volcano was shaken by energy, triggering a volcanic eruption. Awaken the three-legged golden crow, and destroy the Liang clan. Xia Xingchen had already unfolded his omniscience domain. Within a radius of 100 meters, everything that happened could not be hidden from his perception. That's right, everything. This also includes the thoughts and ideas of other people, which Xia Xingchen can also perceive. This is a soul ability similar to telepathy. However, if the other party is a strong person and intends to conceal, Xia Xingchen cannot cross the mental barrier and continue to explore. Just now, Lu Man's belief was so strong that Xia Xingchen clearly sensed it. From Lu Man's thoughts, Xia Xingchen suddenly felt that something was wrong. He did want to awaken the three-legged golden crow. However, it was to kill the three-legged golden crow and create the Suzuki mecha. It was not to destroy the Liang clan at all. Xia Xingchen had no grudges against the Liang clan, and he was not a ruthless executioner. If he had to destroy an intelligent race to create the Suzuki mecha, Xia Xingchen would rather give up. Something went wrong. Xia Xingchen thought, and the azure dragon mecha immediately retreated rapidly. However, when the masters fought, the momentum weakened and fell into a disadvantage. The azure dragon mecha was wrapped in the axe blade, and its body was covered with scars of varying depths. Human. In order to protect my clan, I must kill you today, Lu Man shouted. Starry sky barrier. Xia Xingchen immediately raised his hand and used defense to resist Lu Man's crazy attack. However, the starry sky barrier was instantly shattered by Lu Man's giant axe, turning into white spots all over the sky. In desperation, Xia Xingchen could only attack instead of defend to contain Lu Man's attack, and shouted, Thunder roar. Boom. The blue thunder beam containing terrifying energy gushed out like a raging wave, instantly submerging Lu Man in the 50-meter high rock armor. The thunder roar was so powerful that even a strong man like Lu Man could not resist it. He was instantly swept away by the thunder frenzy and disappeared without a trace. Xia Xingchen did not mean to kill Lu Man, so he let Lu Man suffer a little. He immediately stopped the energy output of the thunder roar and forcibly contained this killing move. White smoke and steam rose from the mouth of the Qinglang mecha, and it suffered some small backlash. The thunder roar attack ended, the light dissipated, and Lu Man's figure appeared again. The rock armor on his body had been peeled off, revealing the innermost body. On his skin, fine red lines appeared, like scales. The scattered thunder energy was annihilated and disappeared immediately when it came into contact with the red lines. Obviously, this layer of red scales on Lu Man's body was his real killer. Even the roar of thunder could not hurt him at all. Human, you are very powerful. You actually forced me to show the treasure of the Liang clan, the fire scale armor. I must kill you. Lu Man's pupils shrank to the size of a needle tip, and he spoke slowly with a look of determination on his face. Chapter 1156 Coward. Wise man. The fire scale armor is the most precious treasure of the Liang clan. Even if ordinary Liang clan members want to see it, they can't afford it. Lu Man is an outstanding genius of the Liang clan. He passed many tests, completed trials again and again, and made great contributions. Only then was he granted the right to use the fire scale armor. However, even a strong man like Lu Man would have to overdraw his vitality to a large extent every time he used the fire scale armor. Compared with humans, the Liang clan can be said to have a long lifespan. However, no matter how long the life is, it cannot withstand wanton squandering. Lu Man calculated that he still had 300 years to live. This time, using the fire scale armor to fight Xia Xingchen would at least overdraw his vitality for 10 years. If it wasn't a last resort, Lu Man would definitely not be willing to use the fire scale armor easily. However, in order to protect the Liang clan, Lu Man was determined. Not to mention 10 years of life, even if it was 100 years of life, or even if his own life was completely burned, Lu Man would not hesitate to stop Xia Xingchen. Boom. The fire scale armor appeared, and Lu Man's body was covered with mysterious patterns. He turned into a pillar of fire that soared into the sky. The countless erupting volcanic magma on the volcano star was eclipsed by Lu Man alone. The power exchanged by the Burning Sun clan, by burning their lives, was extremely powerful, as if it could burn everything in the world. Come on, Xia Xingchen. Let's fight to the death. Lu Man turned into a burning torch, with blazing flames spurting out of his facial features, and shouted loudly. In Lu Man's view, this was already a situation of life and death. Only one of him and Xia Xingchen could leave the volcano star alive. The atmosphere in the air was extremely depressing, and the battle was about to break out. However, at this moment, Xia Xingchen suddenly chuckled and cupped his hands. The elders of the Burning Sun clan are really powerful. The seniors are powerful, and the juniors know that they are no match for them. I admit defeat. Admit defeat. The double helix spear in the hands of the Azure Dragon Mech dissipated and turned into countless points of light. At this moment, Xia Xingchen was unarmed, and even the engine was turned off. The sky wind glided and landed on the ground. Everyone was stunned. Xingchen admitted defeat. What's going on? Is he really afraid of this elder of the Liang clan? Impossible. Lord Marquis still has many trump cards that he hasn't used yet, but he is not a person who easily admits defeat. What's going on? On the Star Domain arc, everyone was surprised. Even Qin Jaina, who was as close to Xia Xingchen as Qin Jaina, couldn't figure out his thoughts at this moment. There was no way. At the decisive moment, he suddenly admitted defeat. It was really incredible to the extreme. Although they couldn't figure out Xia Xingchen's thoughts, no one on the Star Domain arc questioned it. Everyone believed in Xia Xingchen, and believed that, as long as he made a decision, he must have his reasons. On the other side, Lian Lui and a group of Liang clan pirates were also surprised to see Xia Xingchen suddenly surrender. Humans surrendered suddenly? Is there some conspiracy? Lu Chang, be careful. Humans are treacherous and cunning. Be careful of false surrender. Conspiracy. There must be some conspiracy. Humans dominate the starry sea and claim to be the overlord of the galaxy. They have plundered many planets and wiped out many races. Therefore, humans have a bad reputation among alien races. None of the star pirates of the Liang tribe believed that Xia Xingchen surrendered willingly. They thought it was a trick and warned him. Of all the people, Lu Man was the most confused. He still maintained his fire scale armor, and his body was still burning with dazzling flames. He was alert and on guard against Xia Xingchen at all times. He shouted coldly, "Human, what do you mean by this? Surrender." Xia Xingchen smiled. Don't the Liang tribe understand what surrender means? It means not to fight anymore. You are powerful, I admit defeat. You. Lu Man was angry for a moment. Logically speaking, Xia Xingchen's surrender meant that he won, and he should be proud. But at this moment, it was as if a big stone was pressing on his chest, and he was extremely depressed. Coward. Lu Man was silent for a long time, and could only curse Xia Xingchen loudly with a sullen face. Whether you are a coward or a warrior, I just think that there is a misunderstanding between the two of us. There is no need to fight before the misunderstanding is explained. Xia Xingchen still had a smile on his face, but his tone gradually became cold. Demon King, Executioner, Madman, Wild Dog, Country Bum. There are many nicknames that insult Xia Xingchen, but no one has ever called him a coward. A coward who dares to be an enemy of the entire universe. killing Xia Neo and Star alone and saving Princess Crossing on the execution ground. A coward who can face thousands of star pirates and break through alone to seek reinforcement? Xia Xingchen's personality is a relatively impulsive type, and he would rather sacrifice himself to save more lives. Xia Xingchen has never been afraid of fighting, but he doesn't like meaningless battles. He and Lu Man could fight to the death, but the result was that the villain behind the scenes succeeded in instigating him, and he secretly rejoiced. Although Xia Xingchen was impulsive, he was not stupid. Misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? You want to awaken the three-legged golden crow and destroy our Liang clan. This is an ironclad fact. You have already admitted it yourself, and there is no point in quibbling. Lu Man shouted angrily. I do want to awaken the three-legged golden crow, but my purpose is not to destroy you. It's because I need to build a new mecha, and I must use the materials of the three-legged golden crow. I want to kill the three-legged golden crow, Xia Xingchen said in a deep voice. What? Lu Man's face changed immediately. Kill the three-legged golden crow? The three-legged golden crow is the god of destruction of the Liang clan. A mere human being actually wants to kill the god. How arrogant. How arrogant. How brave. Thinking that she had just called such a brave and almost arrogant person a coward, Lu Man's cheeks became hot. The star pirates of the Liang clan were all silent at this moment, and they couldn't believe their ears. Are you telling the truth? Lu Man's voice trembled, and he looked at Xia Xingchen again. No deception. Xia Xingchen said lightly, I swear on my life. My words are absolutely true. This. Lu Man hesitated, and the fire scale armor on his body instantly extinguished, and the divine pattern on his body also dimmed. His fighting spirit faded, and his mind calmed down. Maintaining the fire scale armor consumed Lu Man's vitality. At this moment, Lu Man came back to his senses and secretly rejoiced in his heart. Just now, he used the fire scale armor, and did not fight with Xia Xingchen. The vitality consumed was not much, only a few days. If he fought, it would consume at least 10 years, or even dozens of years of life. It can be said that Xia Xingchen saved Lu Man's life. He couldn't help but be grateful to Xia Xingchen. Uncle, humans are cunning and best at lying. Don't trust what he says. Seeing that his uncle's will to fight had disappeared, and he was obviously preparing to make peace with Xia Xingchen, Louis quickly condensed his rock armor and flew into the air to dissuade him. Chapter 1157, The Fiery Sun Clan. Louis, let me ask you something. Lu Man turned around and stared at his nephew. Did Xia Xingchen ever say that he wanted to awaken the three-legged golden crow and destroy the Liang clan? Did he ever say that he wanted to kill the three-legged golden crow and build a mecha? Louis was speechless. He was indeed spreading rumors, hiding the fact that Xia Xingchen treated him with courtesy and trying to sow discord. Asshole. Do you know that if Xia Xingchen hadn't retreated, you would have killed me alive? Lu Man was so smart that he immediately understood what was going on when he saw that Louis' face was not right and he was hesitant to speak. Snap. Lu Man was furious and suddenly waved his hand and slapped Louis hard on the cheek. A huge flaming hand flew towards Louis. He had no time to dodge and was hit hard. Lu Man's attack was extremely heavy. Although Louis had condensed a rock armor and had great defensive power, the rock armor still collapsed instantly after being slapped. He fell naked from mid-air. Boom. Fiery Louis fell to the ground with a loud noise and smoke rising. Go wake up that rubbish. The lava was flowing on the ground. Lu Man couldn't bear it and shouted to the several Fiery Sun Clan space pirates below. Two space pirates quickly condensed rock armor and flew over, holding Louis up on the left and right. One side of Louis' cheek was completely swollen, and his teeth were falling out. He was bleeding from his mouth and nose, and looked extremely miserable. Uncle. Louis was extremely afraid of Lu Man. After waking up, he lowered his head and dared not breathe. Put him in solitary confinement for the time being. Reflect on yourself. Lu Man was furious and waved his hand and shouted sternly. Louis did not dare to disobey and was escorted by two space pirates, sent to the spaceship and locked in the confinement room. Xia Xingchen, you humans have a saying, no fight, no acquaintance. There are some misunderstandings between the two of us. Would you please come to the spaceship and we will explain it in detail? Lu Man bowed, with an apologetic look on his face, and said to Xia Xingchen, "The spaceship of the Liang clan can be said to be a den of dragons and tigers. God knows whether Lu Man will set up a Hanman feast." However, Xia Xingchen did not hesitate at all, and immediately nodded and smiled. Okay. Xia Xingchen was not a reckless person. Under the coverage of the omniscience field, even the thoughts were clearly detected. Xia Xingchen felt that Lu Man had no ill intentions, only sincerity. Whoosh! The Azure Dragon mecha flashed and entered the spaceship of the Liang clan. The Liang clan was tall, and the shortest one was 2 meters, like a giant. The spaceship was very large. The appearance of the spaceship looked no different from that of human spaceships. However, the interior was very different. The main body of a human spaceship is made of steel, and the instruments and equipment are all geometric or streamlined, full of technological beauty. The main body of the Fiery Sun Clan spaceship is made of rock. The table is made of rock, the stool is made of rock, and the wall is also made of uneven rock. Entering the spaceship is like entering a cave. Xia Xingchen stepped down from the Azure Dragon mecha. It was also his first time to come into contact with the Fiery Sun Clan. He couldn't help but marvel at it, and his black eyes were full of curiosity. "Xia Xingchen, please sit down." The rock armor on Lu Man's body fell off, and his skin was red. His facial features were not much different from those of humans. He had rich expressions, and knew how to feel happy, angry, sad, and happy. He pointed to a chair, and asked Xia Xingchen to sit down. Xia Xingchen bowed and sat on the chair. Lu Man immediately went to the space pirates to prepare drinks. After a while, a space pirate came over with a rough spherical container. Lu Man opened the bottle cap himself, and immediately a strong aroma of wine filled the entire cabin. "Do you Fiery Sun Clan also drink?" Xia Xingchen blinked, very curious. The body composition of the Liang tribe is rock and minerals, which is completely different from humans. How could they know how to make wine and drink? The universe is deep and full of wonders. Although the body composition of our Liang tribe is different from yours, according to ancient records, our ancestors were also blessed by ancient humans. The art of brewing wine was learned from ancient humans. Lu Man smiled and explained. "I see." Xia Xingchen suddenly realized. The Milky Way is the homeland of ancient humans, and there are many tribes that have been blessed by them. To this day, there are still many life planets, and the statues of gods in the temples have a shadow of humans. In myths and legends, ancient humans are also called gods. Ancient humans are the most powerful celestial beings, with unimaginable super technology. It is normal for ignorant primitive races to regard them as gods. "Can I drink it?" Xia Xingchen smelled the rich aroma of wine, and couldn't help but salivate. "Of course." Lu Man smiled, and took out a stone bowl to pour wine for Xia Xingchen. From a human perspective, this stone bowl is very rough, but what is rare is that there are some complex patterns in the bowl, but they are obviously natural, and have not been carved. Seeing Xia Xingchen's curious face, Lu Man explained, "The life of the Liang tribe evolved from stone. Our tribe has always regarded stone as beautiful, and believes that stone has life, so we can't bear to carve and damage it. The utensils here are all naturally generated." "Is this spaceship also natural?" Xia Xingchen was shocked. "That's right." Lu Man looked up and said, "The spaceship of the Liang tribe is called the meteorite spaceship. It is made of fallen stars. Fallen stars are so rare, so the number of spaceships in our tribe is very small. Made of fallen stars, this is a bit strange." Xia Xingchen lowered his head and looked at the amber wine in the stone bowl. He sniffed it gently, and the aroma of the wine was fragrant, mixed with a spicy smell of ore. The taste of this wine is very similar to the ironstone brew from Xia Xingchen's hometown, Manastar. Ironstone brew is not brewed from grains, but from a mineral called ironstone that is a specialty of Manastar. It is very special. Whenever Xia Xingchen smells the aroma of ironstone brew, he can't help but think of his hometown. "I'm now an interstellar wanderer, and I don't know how many light years away from my hometown. But the hardest thing to give up is still my hometown." Xia Xingchen couldn't help but glittering tears in his eyes. Gulp. Xia Xingchen picked up a bowl of wine and drank it all in one gulp. Cough cough cough. The spicy feeling burned all over his throat, and Xia Xingchen couldn't help coughing despite his alcohol tolerance. Strong. Too strong. The wine of the Liang clan is hundreds of times stronger than Ironstone brew. It's like a flame burning my throat. You humans, do you all drink like this? Awesome. Awesome. Lu Man looked strange, sipping the wine in the stone bowl in small sips, and exclaimed. Even the Liang clan couldn't bear this kind of strong wine, and they'd only drink it in small sips. How would I know? But this wine feels so good. Xia Xingchen's cheeks flushed, and she was already a little drunk. Xia Xingchen, let me confirm again, you are going to hunt down the three-legged golden crow. After finishing a bowl of wine, it was time to talk about business. Lu Man's face darkened, and he asked seriously. That's right. I'm going to hunt down the three-legged golden crow. But if you, the Liang clan, refuse to do so, then I will have no choice but to give up. The universe is so big, it must not be just you, the Liang clan, who have the three-legged golden crow. I will definitely find it. Xia Xingchen said in a deep voice. The prophet was right. During this trip, I met a brave sun hunter among humans. Lu Man was delighted and excitedly grabbed Xia Xingchen's wrist. Chapter 1158 Savior. Sun Hunter Warrior. Xia Xingchen looked confused. He just wanted to hunt the three-legged golden crow and build the vermilion bad mecha. What did it have to do with the Sun Hunter Warrior of the Fiery Sun clan? Where should I start? Lu Man put down the stone bowl in her hand, thought for a long time, and looked embarrassed. Perhaps I should start from the birth of our Fiery Sun clan. This is an extremely long story. I will try to be brief. I would like to hear more about it. Xia Xingchen was also very interested in the Fiery Sun clan, a life form different from humans, and immediately nodded and said, the Fiery Sun clan was born in the depths of the dark and dark earth. Due to the high temperature and pressure of the earth's core, as well as the influence of radioactive element, certain minerals changed, and the most basic life particles appeared. Over an extremely long period of time, they slowly evolved into the ancestors of our Fiery Sun clan. Unlike you humans, our Fiery Sun clan's civilization was born in darkness. For even tens of thousands of years, we thought the world was dark, and we didn't even know what water was. This was because there was only boiling magma and hard rock underground, and due to the pressure and temperature, there was no liquid water at all. Afterwards, after countless generations of efforts by the Fiery Sun clan, we finally chiseled a road to the ground, of course at the cost of countless hardships. We saw the sun and the real light. Lu Man gave a brief introduction to the history of the Fiery Sun clan. However, we finally realized what a dangerous environment we were living in. Our planet is called Wanshi. The nearest star, Liang, is an extremely unstable giant star that could explode with a helium flash at any time. In fact, Liang had experienced a helium flash before, and because of this, the surface of Wanshi is a scorched earth with no signs of life. It was sheer luck that our Liang tribe was able to survive underground. Lu Man sighed. Of course, maybe it was because of Liang's helium flash that our Liang tribe was born on Wanshi. Helium flash. Xia Xingchen's face changed slightly. Helium flash is the core part of a medium mass star, where the accumulated helium elements suddenly undergo nuclear fusion. Helium flash can cause thermal runaway, causing the star to release more than 1,000,000 times the normal energy in a few seconds. Depending on the mass of the star itself, after a helium flash, the star will become a red giant and eventually extinguish and become a dead star. Or it may explode into a supernova and end. No matter which one it is, when a star has a helium flash, the terrifying energy released will destroy all the surrounding planets, or even the entire star system. Faced with this uncontrollable and terrifying force, life fully realizes its own insignificance. What should we do then? Xia Xingchen was also anxious, and was immersed in Lu Man's story. At that time, the technology of the Liang clan was not advanced, and they did not have the ability to build interstellar spaceships. Facing death, we could only wait silently for death. Fortunately, at this time, the savior came. Lu Man's eyes were full of desire. Savior? Xia Xingchen was stunned for a moment, and immediately realized, ancient humans. Yes, it was the former celestial beings, the ancient humans who dominated the galaxy. A starship landed on the Liang. The ancient humans' technology was very terrifying. They drove mechas, fearless of the high temperature of the stars, and hunted three-legged crows in the sea of fire of the stars. And the three-legged crows were the culprits that caused the helium flash. The ancient humans hunted thousands of three-legged crows to stabilize the Liang again. However, there were three-legged crow eggs deep in the stars, and even the ancient humans could not go that deep, so they had to give up. No matter what, the ancient humans are the saviors of the Liang clan. They gave us the Liang clan 10,000 years to develop, and finally built spaceships to migrate to other planets. Luman said, but the Liang clan is not a very adaptable race. Only the special environment of Wanshi Star can guarantee our fertility. Offspring is the basic condition for the continuation of a race. Although we can immigrate, we cannot have children. Therefore, we still cannot leave Wanshi Star. Now, the three-legged golden crow on Liang Star has rehatched and has awakened again. We have observed that the stellar activity is very intense and a helium flash may occur at any time. I came all the way to the Chaos Star region just to find Lu Yi, this useless kid. We, the Liang clan, are united and vow to live and die with Wanshi Star. Live and die together. That's a stellar helium flash. Xia Xingchen could feel Luman's determination and was shocked. However, he did not think that the Liang clan had any hope of survival. The energy of a helium flash was too terrifying, and it could destroy the entire star system in an instant. This kind of energy is not something that any weapon known to mankind can achieve. Even the legendary Star Destroyer can't compare to it. My Lord Marquis. Luman suddenly knelt down in front of Xia Xingchen. You must be the sun hunter predicted by the prophet. You can follow the example of the savior and hunt the three-legged crow in the stars to stabilize the fiery sun star again. Please come with me to the Wanshi Star. You will be treated as the most noble guest. Xia Xingchen was stunned. Luman actually invited her to the Wanshi Star and treated him as the savior. How can I be a savior if the three-legged crow is really that terrifying and can trigger a helium flash? I think I can't do anything about it. Xia Xingchen shook his head. He couldn't bear to deceive Luman. No, you are. Luman said anxiously. I knew it the moment I saw the star domain arc. It was the star domain arc of the ancient humans in the legend. You have the heritage of the ancient humans, so you should complete what they have not completed. Luman said, of course, the most important thing is that your original purpose was to hunt the three-legged golden crow. Indeed. Xia Xingchen thought for a while and nodded. I can promise you. But I can't guarantee that I will succeed. If the difficulty is too high and my life is in danger, I will give up at any time. You agreed. Great. Luman smiled and rubbed his hands excitedly. I didn't expect it to be so smooth. Great. Then we should set off today without further delay. My meteorite spaceship is very fast. It will take 60 days to return to Wanshi Star. 60 days. Too long. What is the specific speed of the meteorite spaceship? Xia Xingchen frowned. He had a lot of things to do and had no time to waste on the road. To cosmic units per day. Luman looked proud, obviously very confident in the speed of the meteorite spaceship. The cosmic unit that Luman mentioned was a concept of the Liang clan. Xia Xingchen calculated in his mind and immediately said with a smile, let's take my star domain arc. It will take about 2 days to reach Wanshi Star. 2 days. Luman was stunned, his eyes widened, staring at Xia Xingchen blankly. A 60-day journey, and the star domain arc can arrive in 2 days? It is 30 times faster than the meteorite spaceship that Luman is proud of. This speed is too exaggerated. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1159 Her Majesty the Queen. Ha ha ha. Since you know that the star domain arc is a spaceship of ancient humans, you shouldn't be surprised by such speed. Xia Xingchen smiled heartily. Let's go. Let's all get on my star domain arc together. Luman immediately agreed and asked the star pirates of the Liang clan to drive 2 meteorite spaceships and slowly fly towards Wanshi Star. He took Louis on the star domain arc. Louis was taught a lesson and became much more honest. He followed behind Lu Man without saying a word. When they stepped on the star domain arc, the two big men of the Liang clan were shocked to see such a high-tech spaceship. Human technology is really powerful. Compared with it, our meteorite spaceship is extremely primitive. It can't be compared. It really can't be compared. Both of them couldn't help but sigh. Xia Xingchen announced the news that the star domain arc was going to Wanshi Star, and everyone cheered. They were also eager to go to Wanshi Star to see the customs of the alien race. Of course, more importantly, they finally got the opportunity to hunt the three-legged golden crow. The three-legged crow lives in the stars. Just thinking about being able to hunt such legendary creatures makes people excited. Xingchen, these two are the strong men of the Liang clan, right? Princess Xingchen, wearing a noble white dress and crystal high heels, walked over and asked with a smile. Who is? The aesthetics of the Liang clan are completely different from those of humans, but their understanding of temperament is similar. Lu Man and Lu Yi were both stunned by Xingchen's innate noble temperament. This is my fiancée Princess Crossing. Xia Xingchen stretched out her hand and held Xingchen's wrist. Ah, Princess. This is Princess Crossing. She lives up to her reputation. Lu Man and Lu Yi both knelt down hurriedly, feeling terrified. No need to be so polite. Xingchen raised her hand and asked the two to stand up, with a gentle smile on her face. You are guests, and you are from the Liang clan, so there is no need to be so polite. Come, sit here. Xingchen's smile made Lu Man and the others feel like spring breeze, and their nervous mood also relaxed. Xia Xingchen asked Lu Man for the coordinates of Wanshi Star, and went to the bridge to drive the star domain arc and temporarily left. Xingchen chatted with Lu Man and Lu Yi. She was very interested in the customs and practices of Wanshi Star. You, the Liang tribe, also have male and female differences, right? Xingchen asked curiously. She had never seen a woman from the Liang tribe. Of course. Lu Man nodded. The fertility of the Liang tribe is much lower than that of humans. Therefore, the status of women is much higher than that of men. Basically, they stay on Wanshi Star and will not venture into the starry sky like men to avoid danger. The death of any Liang woman is a huge loss to the entire Liang tribe. The Liang tribe is a matriarchal society, and our highest ruler is Her Majesty the Queen. The Queen. Xingchen's eyes showed a trace of envy, and she sighed faintly. That's great. Maybe I can become good friends with her. Xingchen, as a princess of the empire, deeply felt the inequality between men and women in the empire. It can be seen that the status of men and women in the human empire is indeed a big problem. In fact, it is not just the Liang clan. There are many races in the universe that are matriarchal. The social state of the human galactic empire, which favors men over women, is an anomaly. After all, for any race, reproduction is the first priority for development. 2 days, it's over in the blink of an eye. The star arc is folding and sailing at an astonishing speed. Many people have gathered on the bridge. My Lord Marquis, the Liang star is ahead. The planet in that direction is my hometown, Wanshi Star. Returning to his hometown, Lu Changleo couldn't help but get a little excited. He pointed to the stars outside the porthole and a planet not far away and introduced them. Xia Xingchen looked over. In the universe outside the spacecraft, there is a huge star that is emitting dazzling light. The volume of this star is 4 times that of the sun. It is so huge that you can feel the heat just by looking at it from a distance. There are 7 or 8 satellites orbiting around the Liang star. These satellites are all red and are scorched by the temperature of the star, as if they are about to melt. Wanshi Star is located far away from Liang Star. It can be said to be the farthest end of the entire galaxy. Even so, the entire planet is covered with cracked earth and there is no ocean. This is an extremely hot planet. Even under such harsh conditions, life is still born on this planet. It is amazing that life is so tenacious. In the entire star system, except Wanshi Star, all other planets were destroyed in the previous helium flash. Those red planets without any life are the future of Wanshi Star. Lu Chang said sadly. Xia Xingchen looked down at the instrument. The detector of the star domain arc showed that there were indeed extremely frequent energy reflections on Liang Star. The optical brain judged that the alert level was B, and it was recommended to stay away from this unstable star immediately to avoid being affected by the sudden energy burst. Even the star domainarch could not resist the huge energy brought by the star helium flash. Maybe the ancient humans had a way to make the star extinguish. However, Xia Xingchen was not an ancient human. He only initially obtained the authority of the star domainarch, and many functions could not be used. Let's go. Go to Wanshi star first. Xia Xingchen gave an order. The star domainarch flew to the star field near Wanshi star, floating in the outer space orbit. Due to the existence of the planetary will, Xia Xingchen had no way to land the star domainarch on Wanshi star. The environment of Wanshi star is so harsh, facing the scorching and depression of Liang star, but it can still give birth to the Liang clan. In Xia Xingchen's opinion, it is probably the credit of the planetary will of Wanshi star. The planetary will of Wanshi star is very powerful, and it has been resisting Liang star and protecting the life on the planet. Not long after the star domainarch stopped, thousands of Liang clan members suddenly appeared in the sky of Wanshi star. They were covered with rock armor and directly passed through the atmosphere to form a line of defense, blocking the star domainarch. The leader was a tall woman. Her rock armor was covered with mysterious patterns, shining with mysterious brilliance. Her face was delicate, her eyes were full of self-evident dominance, and she held a huge golden scepter in her hand. She shouted coldly, "Human invaders! I'm the Queen Killer of the Liang clan. This is my planet Wanshi star. No matter what your purpose is, exploration or trade, the Liang clan does not welcome you. I give you 1 hour to get out of this starfield immediately. Otherwise, you will be regarded as an enemy by the Liang clan. Humans have a bad reputation in the Milky Way. Obviously, human warships have also been to this starfield and have done things that the Liang clan hates very much. As soon as a starfield ark arrived, it attracted the attention of the Liang clan on Wanshi star. They were as if they were facing a great enemy, thinking it was an invader. Chapter 1160. Calm down. It's the Queen of the Fiery Sun tribe. It's really Her Majesty the Queen. Her Majesty the Queen has personally led the army to stop the star domainarch. Lu Man and Lu Yi were surprised when they saw the figure of the front of the Fiery Sun tribe in the starry sky. The social form of the Fiery Sun tribe is very special, and it is a matriarchal society as a whole. Lu Yi's father is the patriarch of the Fiery Sun tribe. In name, he is the supreme commander, but in fact, he does not have much real power and is still controlled by the Council of Elders. The patriarch is elected every 10 years, and all the Fiery Sun tribe members vote to elect a tribe member who is highly respected, powerful, and talented as a patriarch. The patriarch can be male or female, and as long as their talents are recognized by the tribe members, they may be re-elected. For example, Lu Yi's father was re-elected 5 times and served as the patriarch for 50 years. The patriarch of the Fiery Sun tribe is similar to the presidential system of human countries in the Earth era. The patriarch is the president. 50 years seems very long to humans. But the life of the Fiery Sun tribe is much longer than that of humans, and 50 years is not too long for them. But the queen is different. The queen is hereditary, and only one bloodline can become the queen. That is, Queen Kilu. Although the queen usually does not interfere in the political affairs of the Liang clan, she is the highest leader of the Liang clan in name and in reality. No Liang clan member dares to disobey the queen's opinion. The queen is extremely noble and above everything else. Even Lu Man, who is an elder, has the honor of seeing the queen's true appearance only during the annual sacrifice to the god of destruction, the 3-legged golden crow. Louis is the son of the clan leader, and it was not until today that he saw Queen Kilu for the first time. Even the reclusive and extremely noble Queen Kilu personally led the army to the starry sky to intercept Xia Xingchen. It can be seen that the sudden appearance of the star domainarch near Wanshi star has attracted such amazing attention. We are regarded as invaders. Xia Xingchen shook her head and smiled bitterly. She pressed a button on the dashboard and used the super technology of the star arc to project her 3-dimensional projection in front of the queen. She said respectfully, "Your Majesty, please listen to my explanation." Explanation? Queen Kilu smiled lightly, but her face did not change at all. Xia Xingchen then noticed that she was wearing an exquisite golden mask on her face. In the starry sky, Queen Kilu stood in front of thousands of Liang people. She was taller than other Liang people, 3 meters tall. She wore a red dress and held a huge golden scepter in her hand. She looked particularly heroic against the background of a group of Liang warriors. Her purple hair was scattered on her shoulders. She wore a golden mask on her face, and her expression could not be seen. Her pair of golden eyes were shining brightly, as if they could see through people's hearts. She looked at Xia Xingchen. Xia Xingchen was shocked. Although her face cannot be seen, her pair of golden eyes make people feel lost, like the most beautiful gem in the starry sky, emitting a mysterious and lively brilliance, which can be called stunning. What makes people even more frightened is the unique temperament of Queen Kilu. There are thousands of human aesthetics. Some people think thinness is beautiful, while others think fatness is beautiful. Different times have different views on beauty. There are countless races in the starry sky, and their aesthetics are even more bizarre. Some races are so ugly that humans dare not even look at them, but among the same race, they are stunning beauties, who are more beautiful than Dio-chan and Zishi. Moreover, when women's beauty reaches a certain level, they have their own merits and there is no standard for measurement at all. The only thing that can be measured is the difference in temperament, especially some unique temperaments, which make people's eyes light up. For example, Princess Xingchen of the Star, as a princess of the empire, is born with a unique and noble temperament. This is something that other women cannot compare to. Xia Xingchen has met many women, including Xia Xingchen and Nina, all of whom are stunning beauties. They are as beautiful as Xingchen, but they are inferior in temperament. Queen Kilu has a very unique temperament, and it is possible that there is no similar one among the trillions of people in the Galactic Empire. Because the Galactic Empire values men over women, and the status of women is very low, it is impossible for a queen to exist. Queen Kilu is outstanding, noble and cold, and has a unique queen temperament. It's a pity that Queen Kilu is a foreign race, which is too different from humans. Xia Xingchen was just shocked and admired her unique temperament, and had no other unreasonable thoughts. Queen Kilu's purple long hair moved without wind, her eyes were fixed on Xia Xingchen, her body was covered with mysterious patterns, and her whole body was emitting a faint halo. Xia Xingchen's eyes were also looking up and down at Queen Kilu, not the eyes of a lower-ranking person to a higher-ranking person, but looking at her levelly. Xia Xingchen was a noble marquis of the empire, so he would be polite to Queen Kilu, but he would not feel ashamed or degrade himself like her subjects. Human, your eyes are very presumptuous. Queen Kilu said coldly, I have changed my mind. You can only leave if you leave your eyeballs. Leave my eyeballs? Xia Xingchen was stunned for a moment, and then laughed. Does your majesty want my eyeballs to stay and admire your beauty all the time? The whole audience was silent. Everyone was stunned. The millions of warriors of the Liang tribe did not expect that this invader would dare to tease their queen in public. Xingchena's face was also jealous, but her behavior was still noble and elegant, standing behind Xia Xingchen. She believed in Xia Xingchen. Ever since Xia Xingchen swore that unforgettable oath in front of countless people at the Xia and Star execution ground, Xingchena knew that she had found the person she loved most in this life. Although Xia Xingchen's words just now had a teasing flavor, it was just a teasing. Xingchena still had a broad mind. Human, how dare you disrespect me? Queen Kilu was immediately furious and raised the golden scepter in her hand. The dazzling golden light illuminated the starry sky. Your Majesty, calm down. Lu Man saw that the situation was not good and quickly condensed the rock armor and flew out. The queen was really angry. As soon as she raised the golden scepter, the next moment it was a fight to the death. Queen Kilu was a super strong person in the Liang tribe, and her strength could be ranked in the top 3. However, Lu Man felt in his heart that even Queen Kilu might not be able to get any advantage from Xia Xingchen. If Xia Xingchen was angry because of such a small misunderstanding, he would leave in anger. Lu Man worked hard, but in the end, it was all in vain, and the Liang tribe suffered. Elder Lu Chang, Queen Kilu had already raised the golden scepter in her hand and was about to swing it down when she suddenly saw a familiar figure flying out of the human starfield arc. Your Majesty, no. This Marquis Xia Xingchen is a distinguished guest that I have invited with great difficulty. He He may very well be the savior mentioned by the prophet, Lu Man said hurriedly. Chapter 1161, The Act of Killing God. Prophet, Savior. Queen Kilu was very confused. Elder Lumen, why are you talking nonsense? Have you been controlled by despicable humans? Swish. With Queen Kilu as the center, a violent mental wave spread out, making everyone in the starry sky unstable, and even Xia Xingchen's eyes dimmed slightly. What a terrifying mental power. I have only seen such a terrifying mental pressure in my master. Xia Xingchen frowned and was shocked. Queen Kilu was too arrogant and domineering, but she had the capital to be arrogant. There was such a strong man in the Liang clan, no wonder humans could not conquer Wanshi Star. No, there is obviously no problem with your mental state. Why are you talking nonsense? Queen Kilu explored Luman's mind with a suspicious tone. Your Majesty. Luman dared not complain about the Queen's wanton exploration of his spirit. He endured his anger and said, Xia Xingchen is the savior who appeared in the prophecy of the prophet, a sun hunter. His purpose in coming to Wanshi Star is to hunt the three-legged golden crow and kill the gods. Kill the gods. The two words hit the hearts of the Liang people hard. The three-legged golden crow is the god of destruction, the sword of Democritus hanging over the heads of the Liang people, and always threatens the Liang people to live in the gods. Xia Xingchen's arrival was actually to kill the gods. All the Liang warriors showed surprise on their faces, and everyone's eyes were focused on the three-dimensional projection of Xia Xingchen floating in the starry sky. Humans, hunting the three-legged golden crow, killing gods. Funny. Queen Kilu opened her cherry lips slightly, and uttered a series of words in surprise, and finally used the resounding word funny as an evaluation. How can a mere human being be called a sun warrior? He wants to hunt the three-legged golden crow? With the weak flesh of humans, they must hide behind steel machinery. They were burned to charcoal before they even approached the sun planet. Queen Kilu said coldly. Ha ha ha. How ridiculous. Humans want to kill gods. How presumptuous. Humans, let alone killing gods. Can you withstand the temperature of magma? You can't. Weak chicken race. In the starry sky, countless sun warriors reacted from their shock at this moment, followed the queen, laughed wildly and recklessly, and mercilessly mocked the weakness of humans. These words were particularly harsh to Xia Xingchen's ears. Humans have weak flesh, but advanced technology. Technology is the embodiment of wisdom. But there are always some alien races with weak technology and strong flesh, who separate the two, and laugh at humans for hiding behind mechas and being cowards. Xia Xingchen did not refute, because refutation is meaningless. Besides, what the people of the Fiery Sun clan said was not wrong. Xia Xingchen's title of Fiery Sun Warrior was forced upon him by Luman. Xia Xingchen had not yet figured out how to get close to a star, to hunt the three-legged golden crow. Although the technology of the Star Domain Arc was powerful, with Xia Xingchen's current authority, he could not find a way to allow himself to withstand the terrifying high temperature on the surface of a star. However, humans were able to become the overlords of the galaxy because there were also strong people. For example, Roger. Queen Kilu's eyes were dazed, and she fell into memories. Roger is the most powerful warrior I have ever seen in the starry sky. If it was him, there might be some possibility. But you can't. You are too young. Your mental strength is also very weak, not even 1/10 of Roger's. Your Majesty, do you know my master? Xia Xingchen smiled faintly and said, Roger is your master? Queen Kilu was stunned, staring at Xia Xingchen, and asked, Roger is my master. Xia Xingchen took out the King Star Pirate's badge that Roger had given her, and used her mental power to pass it to Queen Kilu through the air. Where is Roger? Seeing the golden skull badge of the King Star Pirates, Queen Kilu's reaction was very strange. Her delicate body couldn't help but tremble slightly, and her voice could hardly maintain its previous calmness. Master is in seclusion on a planet. Xia Xingchen did not tell the truth. It's good to be alive. There is a chance to meet each other, if you are alive. Queen Kilu took a deep breath and stabilized her expression again, returning to her previous arrogant and cold appearance. Xia Xingchen, since you are Roger's apprentice, then you go back and tell Roger immediately. Just tell me that Queen Kilu wants him to come to see me. If anyone can save the Liang clan, it is Roger. Queen Kilu raised her head, her eyes shining, and said, "Now, I order you to leave my planet immediately. You just disrespected my sin, and for Roger's sake, I will forgive you once." Xia Xingchen was silent, and did not answer. He didn't know what the relationship between the master and the Queen Killer was, and what had happened between them. However, it can be seen that Queen Killer was very confident that the master would come, as long as her name was mentioned. The relationship between Queen Killer and the master must be beyond the imagination of ordinary people. It's just, Xia Xingchen couldn't be a mouthpiece. Even if Xia Xingchen went to Gold and Silver Star to tell Roger that Queen Killer wanted him to go to Wanshi Star to save the Liang clan, Roger would not come. Because Roger is now in danger, and it is impossible for him to leave the cage on the 36th floor of the dimensional cube. Human. Are you disobeying me? Seeing that Xia Xingchen did not answer, and had no intention of leaving, Queen Killu's voice became cold again. "Your Majesty." Elder Lu Chang was very anxious and shouted, "Although Roger is the strongest man in the world, but he is not the savior. This Xia Xingchen is the sun hunter predicted by the prophet. Elder Lu Chang, watch your identity and words. Are you going to disobey me too?" Queen Killu's dignity would not be violated by anyone, especially one of her own people. She stared at Lu Man aggressively. Lu Man felt cold all over and said with a stiff upper lip, "Your Majesty, this is what the prophet meant. You can go ask her. Don't use that old thing to pressure me." Queen Killu snorted coldly, "Wan Shixing is my planet. I'm the master of this planet. Prophet, prophet, all day long, everyone is talking about that old thing. An old guy who is dying and will close his eyes at any time. Really?" Queen Killu obviously had a big prejudice against the prophet and was full of complaints. However, Queen Killu finally chose to compromise. "The road is long, Elder. Go and take this human to see the prophet. I will arrange people to test his strength to see if he is really the savior." Queen Killu snorted coldly, put away the golden scepter, and led the warriors of the Liang tribe back to Wanshi Star. Chapter 1162, The Top of the Holy Mountain. Jaina. Xia Xingchen turned to look at Princess Crossing and said with a wry smile, "I originally wanted to take you to Wanshi Star as a guest to experience the customs of the alien race. But the queen doesn't seem to welcome us. This trip may be dangerous." "I understand." Jaina nodded obediently. "I will stay on the star domain arc to handle the affairs. When you go to Wanshi Star, you must be careful about everything. If there is anything wrong, come back immediately. We are waiting for you in space." Jaina. Xia Xingchen was relieved. It was a blessing for him to have a sensible girl like Jaina as his wife. The people of the Bloody Mary Star Pirates really wanted to take a look at Wanshi Star. Kang Xiu and his group of Kang family members were also very interested in the technological level of Wanshi Star. However, Xia Xingchen finally chose Blood Demon 1 as his personal bodyguard, driving a Zhuang Mecha and following Lu Man and Louis to Wanshi Star. On the way, Xia Xingchen whispered to Blood Demon 1, "Do you know why I brought you with me?" Blood Demon 1 lowered his head and said respectfully, "The Blood Demon group is the sword in the hands of the Marquis. Help the Marquis to clear the thorns ahead. It's good that you understand." Xia Xingchen likes smart people very much, especially smart people like Blood Demon 1 who are loyal and obedient. The Liang clan is an alien race after all. Those who are not of my race must have different hearts. Humans have a bad reputation in the universe, but I don't want aliens to look down on us humans. For those aliens who dare to despise and insult us, you will teach them a lesson on my behalf. Tell them why we humans are the overlords of the Milky Way. My Lord Marquis. As you command." Blood Demon 1's eyes sparkled, and he nodded slightly. Even he was very dissatisfied with Queen Killu's attitude towards humans just now. Dignity is not spoken with the mouth, but earned with fists. Humans use heavy ships and cannons to shut up countless alien races in the Milky Way, and learn what it means to respect the strong. Xia Xingchen and Blood Demon 1 drove the Mecha, and followed Elder Lu Chang, flying towards the ground of Wanshi Star. "I'll take you to see the prophet first," Elder Lu Chang explained. "The surface of Wanshi Star is barren and there is no life. Our citizen tribesmen live underground. Only the prophet lives on the holy mountain on the surface of the planet. The prophet is the spiritual leader of the Liang clan. Even Queen Killu respects her and needs to listen to her teachings. It's just that the threat of the three-legged golden crow is imminent, and the queen is inevitably a little upset, and there is some contempt in her words. Please don't take it to heart. I don't care. Xia Xingchen smiled and passed by. Whoosh. The mecha flashed in the sky and flew towards a towering mountain called Holy Mountain. The altitude of the Holy Mountain is very high, 10,000 meters. There is no vegetation on the mountain, and there is no sign of life, only black rocks. The whole Holy Mountain is like a black sword towering into the clouds, standing on the boundless land. A path around the mountain, winding and twisting, leads all the way to the top of the mountain. On both sides of the path, there are countless stone statues, and their heights are no different from those of the Liang clan. Each statue is lifelike, and even their facial expressions are vivid. Xia Xingchen does not understand art. However, it is obvious that art is common to any race. Countless stone statues stretch along the path to the top of the mountain. Elder Lu Chang respects these stone statues very much. He dares not even look directly at them. He bows his head and leads Xia Xingchen and Blood Demon to the top of the Holy Mountain. There are no buildings on the top of the Holy Mountain, but there are hundreds of stone statues. These stone statues have different postures. Most of them are sitting, with calm expressions, as if they are listening to the lectures of sages. Elder Lu Chang walked quickly to the center of the mountain top, knelt in front of a stone statue, and said respectfully, "Prophet, Xia Xingchen is here." "Prophet?" Xia Xingchen looked up at the 3-meter tall stone statue. She was an old woman with wrinkles all over her face, sitting cross-legged on the ground, wearing a white cloak. No matter from which angle you look at it, this statue is stone, without a trace of life. Even if Xia Xingchen used his mental power to sense it, and even unfolded the omniscience field, this statue was still stone, a stone without any life. Elder Lu Chang was so respectful to a stone statue, and called her a prophet? Xia Xingchen was a little confused. The next moment, something happened that shocked Xia Xingchen. The prophet seemed to have heard Elder Lu Chang's call, and the stone statue suddenly came to life. The stone chips on the surface fell off, and slowly began to move. In Xia Xingchen's omniscience field, the stone statue became a living being. "Child, I finally waited for you." The prophet lowered his head, and looked at Xia Xingchen kindly. The stone is alive." Xia Xingchen looked dazed. Our Liang tribe is originally stone. We came from stone, and returned to stone. After death, we will all turn into stone statues. There is nothing strange about it. The prophet smiled slightly and explained. After death, we will all turn into stone statues? Xia Xingchen was shocked, and suddenly thought of something. Are the stone statues on the way to the Holy Mountain also? That's right. They are the tombstones of the ancestors of the Liang tribe. When they were alive, they made great contributions to the Liang tribe. After they died, their bodies are monuments for future generations to pay tribute to. The prophet said. So that's it. Xia Xingchen finally understood why he felt a solemn feeling after arriving at the Holy Mountain. It turned out that the Holy Mountain was a huge tomb. "Old woman, are you waiting for me?" Xia Xingchen looked up at the prophet. "That's right. Xia Xingchen, you are the one I'm waiting for. I know everything." The prophet said kindly, "I'm old, very old, and I have been waiting for you since 1,000 years ago. Fortunately, before my life came to an end, I waited for you. You are the Sun Hunter, the hunter of the three-legged golden crow, the god slayer, the savior of the Liang clan." 1,000 years ago. Xia Xingchen took a breath of cold air. After a long silence, Xia Xingchen asked a question. "Old woman, you said you were waiting for me 1,000 years ago. At that time, I didn't exist. Or, has the future been determined? Can the future really be predicted?" "Haha, child. You are a lot like me. When I was young, I also thought about this question." The prophet smiled, stretched out his hand to grab a handful of sand on the ground, and waved it out. The sand flew in the air and slowly fell to the ground after a long while. "Child, what is the fate of these sands? Can you calculate it?" asked the prophet. "Probably." Xia Xingchen nodded. In his full-time field, calculating the trajectory and landing point of the sand was not a difficult task. He could easily calculate it by consuming some mental energy. In fact, human mechas could calculate this level of calculation using optical brains. Chapter 1163 Man Conquers Nature. Can you predict the orbit of the planets? The prophet looked at Xia Xingchen with a smile. Of course you can. Xia Xingchen replied, calculating the orbit of the planets is a compulsory subject for high school students. You don't even need a light computer. You only need paper and pen to calculate it. Then, you humans can also calculate the position of all the planets in the entire Milky Way at a certain moment in the future? The prophet was still smiling. Xia Xingchen was speechless for a moment. Theoretically, the orbits of all the planets in the Milky Way are regular. However, if we only count the stars, there are a total of 300 billion in the Milky Way. The number of planets is even greater. Add to that comets, meteorites, nebulae and other celestial bodies. The number of celestial bodies in the Milky Way can be said to be countless. With the current technology of human beings, it is even impossible to calculate it accurately, let alone accurately calculate the position of all celestial bodies at a certain moment. This amount of calculation is really amazing. Maybe it can be calculated with the technology of the gods, but with the current technology of human beings, this is an impossible task. The prophet still smiled and looked down at Xia Xingchen with a kind look. Old woman, I understand. Xia Xingchen took a breath. The future is not unpredictable, but the amount of calculation required is too large, and no one can predict it. Even you can only predict in a small range, just like counting the grains of sand in your palm, or roughly predict the direction. You are indeed waiting for me, but the person you are waiting for may not be me. It's just that I appeared in the right place at the right time, so you are sure that I'm the savior in the prophecy. Humans are indeed a wise race. They understand it at a glance. It took me 300 years to figure out the truths you said. A look of surprise appeared on the prophet's face, and he praised. Can the future be predicted? Xia Xingchen actually doesn't care about this mysterious thing that can't be thought out. Even if the future can be predicted, the ending has been determined. Xia Xingchen also believes that man can conquer nature. As long as you work hard enough and have strong power, even the destined future can be changed. Only the strong can control their destiny. Old woman. Since I'm the one in the prophecy, I'm destined to hunt the three-legged crow. However, with my current strength, I can't even get close to the fiery sun star, let alone hunt the three-legged crow. Xia Xingchen said truthfully. Don't worry, the ancient humans have already arranged everything. The prophet smiled and said, just follow me. The prophet walked forward with a cane and came to a huge rock. The rock was very large, 50 meters high, dark red in color, and incompatible with the black rock of the holy mountain. Click. The cane in the prophet's hand gently tapped on the rock, as if pressing a button. Click, click, click. On the huge rock, stone chips fell, revealing its true appearance. It was a huge mecha with a height of 50 meters. The mecha shell was dark, with countless mysterious paint patterns on it. Under the sunlight, it reflected a mysterious luster. Mech. Xia Xingchen's eyes widened, and his heart trembled. This mech has existed for tens of thousands of years. Oh my god, this is a mech left by a celestial being. First time. Among humans, Xia Xingchen is considered to have a wide range of knowledge, and has seen all kinds of mechas. However, this is also the first time Xia Xingchen has seen a mech left by a celestial being. Not to mention a complete mech. Even a broken mech part has never been seen. Any mech enthusiast would be so happy to see such an ancient and complete celestial being mech. At this moment, Xia Xingchen's eyes were red, and he was dancing with joy. He could not describe the shock and joy in his heart in words. That's right. The prophet laughed. This is a mecha weapon left by ancient humans. They called it Haiyi. It was once a powerful weapon for hunting three-legged golden crows. It's a pity that we, the Liang people, can't start this mecha. But I think you can. With this Haiyi mecha, you can go to Liang Star and hunt three-legged golden crows. Haiyi. Xia Xingchen's eyes lit up when he heard the familiar name of this mecha. Haiyi is the name of a hero in ancient Chinese mythology. Even in this interstellar age, every descendant of China has heard the legend of Haiyi. Myths and legends are not completely fictional and absurd stories. They are ancient memories that have happened and are ingrained in DNA. The story of Haiyi shooting the sun really happened. It's just that the place where it happened was not the Earth, but the distant Guanxi star. The protagonist of the story, Hao Yi, is not a legendary hero, but a powerful mecha with strength comparable to that of immortals and demons. Ancient humans once drove Hao Yi mechas to hunt three-legged crows on Liang Star, and saved Wanshi Star. This brilliant memory was also inherited with DNA. As the descendants of ancient humans, humans occasionally awakened this memory and pass it down as a myth. Sun-shooting bow. Xia Xingchen looked behind Hao Yi mecha and found a longbow that looked very familiar and immediately screamed. There were countless vine patterns on the longbow, revealing a mysterious atmosphere. Obviously, this longbow is exactly the same as Xia Xingchen's former weapon sun-shooting bow. However, the sun-shooting bow Xia Xingchen got was a fake and was sold to Edward at a high price on Black Tower Star. The original version of the sun-shooting bow is displayed in the basement of the Tang Dynasty Group headquarters. Li Xiaomin originally planned to give the original sun-shooting bow to Xia Xingchen, but Xia Xingchen chose the more powerful Black Bracelet Divine Weapon System. There is not only one Hao Yi mecha, and there is not only one sun-shooting bow. The Hao Yi mecha is a mass-produced mecha, and the sun-shooting bow is a mass-produced standard weapon. Xia Xingchen immediately figured it out. At the same time, he was deeply shocked. He didn't know how advanced the technology of ancient humans was. Even a mass-produced mecha can go to the surface of a star to hunt the three-legged crow. Xia Xingchen, go and try to see if you can drive this mecha. If you can, then you must be the savior in the prophecy. The prophet urged. Okay. Xia Xingchen's heart was in turmoil. He took a deep breath, tried to keep himself calm, and walked to the bottom of the Hao Yi mecha. The manufacturing process of the Hao Yi mecha is the same as that of the Star Domain Arc. It is a technology that is completely incomprehensible to humans today. Although it is incomprehensible, it can be used. Xia Xingchen subconsciously walked to the right foot of the Hao Yi mecha and pressed a hidden button. Immediately, a white light shone down and teleported him directly into the cockpit of the mecha. Like the Star Domain Arc, the way to enter the Hao Yi mecha is not to climb the ladder clumsily, but to teleport over a short distance. Chapter 1164 Solar Sail. Hao Yi mecha. Xia Xingchen, wearing a silver grey mecha combat suit, sat in the cockpit of the Hao Yi mecha. The Hao Yi mecha was very large, 50 meters long, 5 times the size of an ordinary mecha, and was a well-deserved giant. The warships and mechas of Shinran were all developing towards large-scale development. It can be seen that Mr. Hao Xian's prediction was correct, and heavy ships and cannons were the direction of human technological development. The cockpit of the Hao Yi mecha was also very spacious. The cockpit of an ordinary mecha was very small, and it was already crowded like a can of sardines, if it could accommodate 3 or 5 people. The cockpit of the Hao Yi mecha was 5 times the size of an ordinary mecha, and there were no miscellaneous instruments and equipment inside, only a driving chair. Xia Xingchen sat on the chair, and his whole body sank into the chair. The chair looked like it was made of metal, but it was actually very soft, like a tailor-made bed, very comfortable. How do I operate this mecha? Xia Xingchen did not see a keyboard or joystick, no power pedal, and even no operating table. The mental power detection is complete. The driver's mental power is consistent. DNA detection is complete. The driver's genetic compatibility exceeds the baseline. Hao Yi mecha, engine start. A cold mechanical sound entered Xia Xingchen's mind. The scenery in front of him suddenly changed, and the walls of the cockpit changed color, colorful, and finally became transparent. This is panoramic simulation. Xia Xingchen took a closer look and found that it was not the cockpit wall that became transparent, but the cockpit wall that performed a panoramic simulation, projecting the outside scene onto the wall so that the driver can see the situation outside the mecha more intuitively. This is not useless technology. In fact, the panoramic simulation of the mecha cockpit is very important. Human vision is very narrow, and the field of vision of a single eye is only 160 degrees. Even if you look at both eyes at the same time, the field of vision is only about 200 degrees. This means that due to the structure of the body, humans have at least 160 degrees of blind spots. Such a huge blind spot is very fatal in battle, especially in fierce battles. A highly skilled mecha master, such as Xia Xingchen, uses his spiritual sense to make up for the blind spots in his vision. Other mecha masters also use various instruments and equipment, such as radar assistance and optical brain scanning detection, to make up for the blind spots in their vision. However, the range of spiritual sense detection is limited, and instrument detection is distracting, which is far less intuitive than seeing directly with the eyes. The panoramic simulation technology projects the scene around the mecha on the 200-degree wall in front of the mecha master, achieving 360-degree observation without blind spots. Xia Xingchen immediately tested it. The panoramic simulation will enlarge or shrink the scene at any time as his thoughts change, and it has a night vision function. Even in the dark space without light, it can clearly capture every move within a radius of 10 kilometers. Powerful. Too powerful. Xia Xingchen was shocked. Just the seemingly insignificant technology of panoramic simulation condensed the technology and wisdom of ancient humans. If the panoramic simulation technology is transplanted and applied to other mechas, the detection performance of the mecha will increase by at least 30 percentage points. Of course, this also means that many mecha masters with the eye ability will lose their original superior status as mecha snipers. The control method of Hai Mecha is very similar to that of Star Domain Arc. There are no extra buttons or joysticks. All you need to do is think about it, and various parameters will appear in front of Xia Xingchen. This is the real mental control, which surpasses the most advanced technology of mankind. If this way of controlling mecha becomes popular, the mecha world of the Galactic Empire will be greatly shaken, and all the old mechas will be eliminated. What is the power of Hai Mecha? Xia Xingchen's eyes flashed, and his face was full of fanatical expressions. He began to test the basic components of the mecha. What is the core component of mecha? It is undoubtedly the engine. Nuclear fusion engine, nuclear fission engine, and ancient electric engine, or the core of Qinglang Mecha, Thunder Heart. The engine is equivalent to the heart of the mecha. Xia Xingchen is looking forward to it. This Hai Mecha has been on the surface of Wanshi Star for tens of thousands of years. After such a long time, ordinary energy has long been exhausted. However, the Hai Mecha was still able to start, which meant that the engine it used was extraordinary. Even if it was not an almost infinite energy engine like the Heart of Thunder, it must be almost the same. However, after Xia Xingchen checked all the parts of the Hai Mecha, his face was full of disbelief. There is no engine core? Xia Xingchen looked at a loss. As the most outstanding young mecha designer in the Galactic Empire, he had never encountered such a strange situation. Xia Xingchen did not give up, and checked it again, this time more carefully, not missing any details. God knows how terrifying the technology of ancient humans was. Maybe the engine core is only the size of a grain of rice. As a result, nothing was found. At this time, the scorching light of the fiery sun star poured down unscrupulously, shining on the dark outer armor metal of the Hai Mecha. Mysterious patterns emerged, and slowly turned into gold. The whole mecha was flashing with strange light, as if it had turned into a scorching little sun. In the cockpit, Xia Xingchen watched the energy scale soar rapidly. 30%, 40%, 50%, 99%. Beep. Charging completed. All indexes are normal. The mechanical synthesized voice sounded again. What is this? Xia Xingchen rubbed his eyes, that were a little sore from the strong light, and finally realized it. The shock on his face became more intense, and he couldn't help but screamed. Solar energy. Hai Mecha. It's a solar mecha. Solar energy is the first energy discovered and used by humans. In fact, solar energy is not a rare technology for humans. According to the history of cosmic exploration, the engine energy used by humans in the earliest interstellar voyages was solar energy, not today's large nuclear fusion engines. The first generation of human spaceships, to leave the solar system and go to the advanced fleet to colonize the distant and deep universe, used huge solar sails on the spaceship. Using the strong blowing power of the solar wind, it can even accelerate to 30% of the speed of light and cross the vast desert of the universe. The technology of solar sails is very mature and has accompanied humans through the early days of interstellar colonization. However, after the invention of the jump engine, solar sails were gradually eliminated. The energy required for the jump is too huge, and the solar sail cannot provide such a huge amount of energy. Therefore, the engines of warships and mechas have returned to nuclear fusion, which can provide huge energy in a short time. To this day, there are still some stubborn mecha designers who have not given up on solar mechas, or even solar sail warships. However, the low solar energy conversion rate and the small capacity of the power storage device are like insurmountable mountains, making solar energy an outdated technology that has been eliminated. Chapter 1165 Epic Paint. Solar energy technology is already an outdated technology for humans. Only some villas, where rich people live, use solar energy for power supply because they value this resource more as green and environmentally friendly and believe that nuclear fusion has slight radiation and affects health. However, Hawaii Mecha actually uses solar energy as power. The dark steel armor outside the mecha is a solar energy conversion device, and it also has a storage function. The conversion rate of solar energy is extremely high, and the capacity of the storage is also amazing, which can support the normal operation of Hawaii Mecha for 7,200 hours. Solar energy technology. It seems that any technology has its uses as it reaches its peak. It's not that solar energy technology is outdated, but because human technology is too low to use this clean and pollution-free energy. Xia Xingchen couldn't help but sigh in his heart. If this technology can be copied, then the energy of any mecha is almost unlimited, which can be compared with the thunder heart of King Lang mecha. Compared with nuclear fusion, solar energy, in addition to being green and clean, has another huge advantage. That is, there is no need to consider the loss of raw materials. Especially when the mecha uses solar energy as energy, unless it is in the dark space of the starry sky without light, or fighting underground on the planet. It is equivalent to unlimited energy. Unlimited energy is an irresistible temptation for any mecha master. 1 RUI once envied Xia Xingchen for having the heart of thunder. It's just, the technological content of this technology should be similar to that of the Star Arc. With the current industrial level and technological level of mankind, it is impossible to analyze it, let alone copy technology. Xia Xingchen carefully explored it, and found that he could not understand how the engine solar furnace on Hawaii Mecha works. Just when Xia Xingchen was disappointed, the mysterious pattern on the outer armor of Hawaii Mecha attracted Xia Xingchen's attention. Is this mental power painting? Xia Xingchen could feel the weak mental power fluctuations from this pattern, and his face was surprised. Omniscience. Xia Xingchen's eyes immediately became blank, and he urged his mental power to the peak, opening the omniscience field. Within the scope of the omniscience field, everything appeared clearly in Xia Xingchen's mind, even the movement of molecules was no exception. It's indeed a paint job. Xia Xingchen used the omniscience domain to feel the microscopic world directly without the help of an electron microscope. At the atomic level, the paint job of Hawaii's mecha is like a huge and beautiful painting, which makes Xia Xingchen amazed. Solar paint job. It can efficiently convert solar energy and store it in the solar furnace. The structure of the entire paint job is very complex. At least it is an epic level paint job. One message after another emerged in Xia Xingchen's mind, and the surprise on his face became more and more intense. The good news is that with the ability of Xia Xingchen's omniscience domain, he can analyze and imitate and copy solar paint jobs. However, the time spent is extremely amazing, and it takes at least half a year to a year to make a solar paint job. The bad news is that, although solar paint jobs can provide almost unlimited energy like the Heart of Thunder, however, this epic level paint job has two huge flaws. The first flaw is that after the solar paint job is installed, there is no place on the mecha to carry other paint jobs. The combat effectiveness of this mecha is one level weaker than other painted mechas. The second flaw is that the solar coating is covered on the armor outside the mecha to facilitate the absorption and conversion of solar energy. The external armor is the strongest and most easily damaged part of the mecha. Once the armor is destroyed and the coating is damaged, the mecha's energy will only be the energy left in the solar furnace. Although the solar coating is not as strong as Xia Xingchen imagined, it is not comparable to the Heart of Thunder. But, in short, just the attribute of infinite energy is enough to shock the entire galaxy. No matter what, the energy system of Hawaii Mecha has exceeded my imagination. Xia Xingchen's eyes flashed with a hot light. I will start the solar furnace and really test drive Hawaii Mecha. As Xia Xingchen's thoughts moved, the solar furnace of Hawaii Mecha started. However, The next moment, Xia Xingchen suddenly felt that the mental power planet suspended in his mind began to be uncontrollable and spun wildly. A large amount of mental power was absorbed into Hawaii Mecha, and the mental power planet immediately shrank and was about to disappear. Oops. Xia Xingchen knew very well that this was a precursor to the exhaustion of mental power. Hawaii Mecha has abundant energy, but the mental power it consumes is extremely amazing. Xia Xingchen's current mental power level is level 50, and he is already a powerful level Mecha master. However, his mental power is still not enough to drive Hawaii Mecha. But there was a roar in his mind, and his eyes went black. Xia Xingchen's mouth and nose were bleeding, and the whole person fainted. I don't know how long it took. Xia Xingchen woke up slowly and felt that he was lying on a flat stone with a splitting headache. Wake up. Finally woke up. Elder Lu Changchang was guarding on the side. Seeing Xia Xingchen wake up, he shouted happily, "Marquis." When Zumoi saw Xia Xingchen wake up, the tense expression on his face eased. Zumoi followed Xia Xingchen to protect his safety. If Xia Xingchen had any problems, Zumoi would have to commit suicide to apologize. "How long have I been unconscious?" Xia Xingchen held his forehead with his right hand and shook his head vigorously. He hadn't felt a painful feeling of mental exhaustion for a long time. 72 hours. Blood Demon said hurriedly. "Alas, I'm too arrogant." Xia Xingchen sighed. "I should have thought that with my current level of mental power, I can only get the authority of ordinary crew members of the Star Domain Arc. I'm still a little short of the fire to drive the Hawaii Mecha." "No, Xia Xingchen, you have shocked me." The voice of the prophet came from the side. The old woman walked over step by step with a cane, with an approving look on her face. "You can drive the Hawaii Mecha, which proves your strength. It proves that you are indeed the savior that our Liang tribe has been waiting for." The prophet walked in front of Xia Xingchen, her body trembling, and she actually knelt down on her knees. "Old woman, what are you doing?" Xia Xingchen was shocked and quickly stood up to stop her. The prophet was very old, about 1500 years old. Such an old man actually knelt down to Xia Xingchen, and he felt that he really couldn't bear it. "I'm not kneeling on my own behalf. I'm kneeling on behalf of the entire Liang clan. Your identity has been confirmed. You are the savior of the Liang clan and our benefactor. Millions of Liang clan members should respect you, admire you, and thank you. Even the noble queen should bow down before you." The prophet's body weighed thousands of pounds, and Xia Xingchen could not stop her from kneeling. Her face was extremely pious. She stared at Xia Xingchen and said in a deep voice, "If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 1166 Light Particle Alienation. "In that case, I order you to stand up immediately." Xia Xingchen's eyes suddenly became sharp and his words were tough. Xia Xingchen was not stupid. Under the perception of the omniscience field, Xia Xingchen clearly peeked into the prophet's thoughts. The prophet praised Xia Xingchen very highly, calling him a sun-hunting warrior, a savior, and an object of worship for the entire Liang tribe. The reason was simple. He wanted Xia Xingchen to drive Hawaii's Mecha to hunt the three-legged golden crow on Liang Star. Hunting on a star is an extremely dangerous thing. The reverence of the Liang tribe can only be exchanged by Xia Xingchen at the cost of his life. If the hunting of the three-legged golden crow succeeds, Xia Xingchen will naturally be a hero. If he fails, he will be a jumping clown in the eyes of everyone. The prophet was very frank and did not hide her thoughts. She clearly wanted to use Xia Xingchen. However, for the sake of her own race, these little tricks are understandable. This is not a conspiracy, but an open conspiracy. Xia Xingchen didn't care, because his original purpose was to hunt the three-legged golden crow on the Liang Star. If he succeeded, then he would become the savior of the Liang clan smoothly, which would naturally bring many benefits. Xia Xingchen was an enemy of the entire galactic empire. If he wanted to counterattack Xia Neon Star, he must have his own power. He now had the Star Domain Arc, so he didn't need to consider technology, but he lacked strong and fierce warriors. If the Liang clan could serve me, then there would be many more opportunities to counterattack Xia Niuan Star. Xia Xingchen thought to himself, and turned to look at the prophet. You also saw that my current strength is not enough to drive the high mecha. Do you have any ideas? The Liang clan is an ancient race with strong strength. In the nearby star fields, they are all kings. Such a race naturally has a deep foundation, and may have a cosmic secret treasure that can improve mental power in a short time. Of course. The prophet smiled and nodded, but it's not a cosmic secret treasure. But for my clan, it is a secret method that must not be passed on to others. Secret method? Xia Xingchen's body trembled slightly. He knew very well that the value of the secret method was far greater than the so-called cosmic secret treasure. Most cosmic secret treasures can only be used once. For example, the fire condensed fruit that Xia Xingchen had eaten before. But the secret method is different. The secret method can be used all the time, and can also be passed on to others. Xia Xingchen had never had a meditation method, and later he got the skyscraper from the old orc on the Black Tower Star. This is a meditation method similar to yoga. After Xia Xingchen used it, his meditation efficiency was indeed greatly improved. The star pirates in the Chaos Starfield generally have a stronger mental power level than the Galactic Empire. In addition to the rich resources and spiritual energy in the Chaos Starfield, the bigger reason is the existence of the skyscraper. However, the skyscraper also has flaws. Even the skyscraper that the old orc gave to Xia Xingchen can only increase his mental power to level 50 at most. After level 50, the effect of the skyscraper will be greatly reduced. What secret method? Xia Xingchen's eyes were burning. Look. The prophet took Xia Xingchen to the edge of the top of the holy mountain. In front of him was an endless huge plain, which could be seen from a high place. It was early morning at this moment. A blazing sun slowly rose from the horizon, illuminating the earth with its brilliant light. The surface environment of Wanshi Star was harsh, and the Liang clan usually lived underground. At this moment, the Liang clan members all emerged from the ground, standing on the plain in the thousands, with their hands open to the left and right, as if embracing the sun, and said devoutly, "Praise the Liang. Praise the god of life." The Liang clan had two gods. One was the Liang, the god of life. The other was the three-legged golden crow, the god of destruction. In their view, the Liang was the one who gave them life. The three-legged golden crow used the Liang as its nest, and parasitized on the Liang, and would eventually destroy the Liang star and the entire Liang clan. Praise the Liang. Praise the god of life. Elder Lu Chang stood beside Xia Xingchen, with his hands open at this moment, and his expression was devout. His breathing gradually became softer, until it was as soft as a mosquito's hum, and finally disappeared without a trace. Elder Lu Chang seemed to have turned into a stone statue, letting the light of the Liang spread over his body. Not sure if it was an illusion, Xia Xingchen felt that the color of Lu Changleo's body seemed to have dimmed a little, but inside his body, energy was surging, as if there was a small sun shining brightly. This is the worship ceremony of the Liang clan. The prophet did not perform the ceremony, but explained, the reason why our Liang clan is named Liang is because we were born from darkness and have experienced a long dark age. That is why there is no race in the universe that worships stars like our Liang clan. Yearning for light. Spectacular, really spectacular. Xia Xingchen stood on the top of the mountain, looking down at the huge plain. Countless Liang clan members opened their hands at the same time and worshipped devoutly, and couldn't help but sigh. However, Xia Xingchen immediately found that the light and shadow on the plain were much dimmer than other places. The light of Liang star was dazzling, and it fell on the entire Wanshi star. The entire planet was scorching. Only this plain seemed to be covered by a large shadow. But there was no cloud in the sky, and the sky was blue. This is... Xia Xingchen's pupils suddenly shrank, and he saw it clearly this time. The Liang clan is absorbing sunlight. Plants can absorb sunlight and perform photosynthesis. It is not uncommon for races to directly use sunlight as energy in the Milky Way. However, the Liang clan was born underground on the Wanshi star. If they used sunlight as energy, I'm afraid that the entire race would have been destroyed before they even reached the surface. In other words, the Liang clan's ability to absorb sunlight is not a natural evolution. Could this be the Liang clan's secret method? Xia Xingchen was shocked and turned to look at the prophet. The prophet smiled with admiration in his eyes. Sure enough, you guessed it right again. The reason why our Liang clan is prosperous and powerful is because we learned a secret method called light particle alienation from ancient humans. This secret method can absorb solar energy as energy and convert it into mental power. Light particle alienation. Xia Xingchen's body trembled slightly and he was extremely excited. Directly absorb solar energy and convert it into mental power. If you master this secret method, then Xia Xingchen's mental power level will advance by leaps and bounds. No wonder the Liang clan regards the light particle alienation as the treasure of the clan. If anyone dares to leak it, he will be a traitor and his entire clan will be killed. Even if he escapes to the end of the universe, he will be hunted to death. The universe is vast, and there are countless stars. Sunlight is not a scarce resource. It is precisely because of this that the light particle alienation technique is even more precious. Once it is leaked, it will be coveted by other races, and the Liang clan will be in calamity. Chapter 1167 Stone Breathing Technique. The prophet was willing to teach Xia Xingchen the ultimate secret technique of light particle alienation. It can be seen that the prophet has already determined that he is the savior and has placed all the future of the Liang clan on Xia Xingchen. Light particle alienation is a breathing method. It was taught to the Liang clan by ancient humans. Some people in the Liang clan also call it the stone breathing technique. The prophet asked Xia Xingchen to sit cross-legged in front of him and explained. Stone breathing technique? Xia Xingchen was stunned, with a strange expression on his face. The efficiency of meditation is indeed related to the breathing method. Yoga is also a breathing method. The sky-high exercise also adjusts breathing through various postures. However, I have only heard of the turtle breathing technique. Stone breathing technique? Can stones also breathe? The world is full of wonders. The prophet explained with a smile. We, the Liang clan, are rock life. Everything has spirituality. Even the planets themselves have consciousness. Not to mention, there are some life forms that cannot be observed by the human eye. For example, the three-legged golden crow can survive in stars. It is a kind of energy life. With human technology, it cannot be observed now. You are right, old woman. The universe is too big and contains endless mysteries. Human beings' technological level is still very low, and they are just frogs in the well. I really want to jump out of the well of the Milky Way and see the outside world. Xia Xingchen clenched his fists slightly, his eyes full of longing. I will teach you the stone breathing technique now. You should feel my breathing carefully. I will remind you one thing. The light particle alienation technique has a flaw. When you are meditating on breathing, your body will harden and you will be unable to move temporarily. In other words, you can only use this secret technique when it is absolutely safe. The prophet reminded. Of course, the holy mountain is a very safe place. And with Elder Lu Changchang and your followers, you don't have to worry. Of course. Elder Lu Changchang said quickly. Savior, you can practice with peace of mind. I will guard you by the side. Blood Demon 1. Leave it to you. Xia Xingchen turned his head to look at the loyal Blood Demon 1 who had been following him. The man who had abandoned his own name immediately stood at attention and gave Xia Xingchen a standard military salute. Xia Xingchen nodded. He had no confidence in Elder Lu Changchang's assurance, but he believed in Blood Demon 1. Wan Shixing, the top of the holy mountain. The prophet taught Xia Xingchen the breathing method of the light particle alienation technique. The most important thing about the breathing method is the breathing rhythm. Different races have different respiratory organs. For example, the turtle breathing technique is not something that humans can learn simply by learning the rhythm of a turtle's breathing. The important thing is the internal laws of breathing. Xia Xingchen has the omniscience domain. Although the breathing system of the Liang clan is completely different from that of humans. But under the demonstration of the prophet, he quickly mastered the internal laws of the breathing rhythm and entered the stone breathing state. The light shone on Xia Xingchen's body, just as before. However, Xia Xingchen's experience at this moment was completely different. Xia Xingchen's body was completely unable to move, and he felt that he had turned into a stone statue, but his mental power became more active, absorbing the energy of sunlight and directly converting it into mental power, recondensing the mental power planet in his mind. Horror. The efficiency of this meditation is really terrifying. Compared with before, it has increased by more than 100 times. Xia Xingchen was extremely shocked. If it weren't for the limitation of the stone breathing technique that made him unable to move, he would have shouted out in excitement. After Xia Xingchen possessed the crystal pyramid and mastered the crystal meditation diagram, his meditation efficiency has always been fast. Among his peers, he is a well-deserved leader. However, the enemy Xia Xingchen has to face now is not just his peers. It is the entire human galactic empire. The empire is full of talents, crouching tigers and hidden dragons, and there are many powerful old mecha masters hidden. For example, the Light Angel Michael is one of them. With Xia Xingchen's original meditation efficiency, it is more than enough to crush his peers. However, if he wants to catch up with the Light Angel Michael, he must improve his meditation efficiency again. Light particle alienation. Xia Xingchen's mind was shocked, and he suddenly thought of it. The mecha driven by the Light Angel Michael is called Light Angel, and the paint on the mecha is the Epic Paint Light. Although Michael's exact ability has not been made public, however, it can be guessed that it is already related to light. Maybe, the Light Angel Michael has already mastered the light particle alienation. Otherwise, why can he become the guardian of the empire and achieve such great achievements? An idea popped up in Xia Xingchen's mind, and he really felt that this idea was not far from the truth. Practice. Improve your mental power as soon as possible. Xia Xingchen gritted his teeth slightly, and a hint of determination flashed in his eyes. In the past, when Xia Xingchen was meditating, his mental power was like a river, surging and pouring into his body. After using the stone breathing technique, the mental power converted from solar energy was like an ocean, vast and boundless. Xia Xingchen's brain cells were like little mouths crying for food, greedily absorbing abundant and pure energy, as if it was a bottomless pit that could not be filled. This also shows from the side that humans have superior genes, but because they cannot meet the needs of cells, many abilities cannot be exerted. On Wanshi Star, underground, a towering palace stands deep in the ground. The people of the Liang tribe regard stone as beautiful and believe that stone has life. Therefore, under normal circumstances, they will not carve stones. However, this palace is built with large pieces of marble, and each stone surface is carved with exquisite patterns and embossed with beautiful murals. Because this is the palace of the queen of the Liang tribe, every member of the Liang tribe believed that everything in the universe must submit to the queen. It was the fate of these stones to carve beautiful shapes, serve the queen, and make her happy. At this moment, the queen of the Liang tribe, Qilu, was wearing a colorful long dress, holding a golden scepter, and sitting on the giant stone throne. Queen Qilu's face was not good. There were hundreds of Liang tribe officials and nobles kneeling in front of her, and all of them dared not breathe a word. Commander Aolin, how is the task I gave you? Has that dirty human been expelled from my holy Wanshi Star? Queen Qilu looked down at a Liang tribe woman wearing golden armor, with dark skin and a height of 3 meters. The Liang tribe is a matriarchal society, and most of the high positions are held by women. In the elders group, women also account for the majority. Male elders like Lu Man are also an anomaly in the elders group. Your Majesty. Orin was silent for a long while, then he spoke slowly, that human and his servants were invited by the prophet, and are on the holy mountain. What? That human dared to defile the holy mountain? How abominable. Queen Qilu's eyebrows were tightly furrowed, and her face showed extreme disgust, as if a woman saw a cockroach. Chapter 1168, Step over my dead body. The prophet. Queen Qilu sat on the throne, looking extremely graceful, and her every move was full of the grace of a mother of the country. At this moment, her face was as dark as water, and her eyebrows were furrowed. I have always respected the prophet. I didn't expect that this old guy would rather believe in the despicable humans and me. I'm so disappointed. Your Majesty, calm down. The members of the Liang tribe kneeling below were all terrified, and knelt down hurriedly. 3 days later, it will be the grandest festival of my Liang tribe. On that day, I will set up an arena and publicly recruit brave hunters. After that, I will lead the warriors to the Liang Star to hunt down the god of destruction. Queen Qilu stared at Commander Orin. I don't want to see the dirty figures of humans on that day. Orin, this matter is up to you. Use all means to drive humans out of the Liang Star. But your majesty, if humans are on the holy mountain, and they are protected by the prophet, I'm afraid I can't touch them. Oren looked embarrassed. Don't worry. The old prophet is too old and often falls into a deep sleep. She can protect for a while, but not for a lifetime. I'll tell you a time. The prophet must be in a deep sleep. A cold smile appeared on the beautiful face of Queen Kilu. Yes. Commander Olin agreed. In the universe, every race has its own lifespan. Even the Liang clan, which has a long lifespan, will have a day when its vitality is exhausted. The prophet has survived for thousands of years, and her vitality has long been exhausted. She has relied on secret techniques to support her to this day. The reason why she struggled to support herself was to wait for Xia Xingchen. Now, Xia Xingchen has arrived on Wanshi Star and has proven that she can drive mecha and is the savior in the prophecy. The prophet's mission has also been completed. She may fall into darkness at any time and never wake up. The prophet felt that he was running out of energy and was about to fall into a deep sleep. Whether he could wake up again was still unknown. Therefore, the prophet called Elder Lu Chang over and repeatedly told him to protect Xia Xingchen's safety. This is the holy mountain. It is the sacred cemetery of the Liang clan. Under the watchful eyes of our ancestors, no one dares to deal with our savior. Elder Lu Man agreed, but he was a little unconvinced in his heart. In the evening, Louis personally climbed the holy mountain and found his uncle. Uncle, the Elder Council has sent a message asking you to go back immediately. They said there is something important to discuss. Elder Council. Elder Lu Man looked embarrassed, pacing in place, unable to make up his mind. As an elder, Lu Man had to obey the orders of the Elder Council. Moreover, Lu Man also needed to return to the Elder Council and inform the elders of the Elder Council that the prophet had confirmed that Xia Xingchen was the savior. Finally, Elder Lu Chang called Blood Demon over, explained, and patted his chest to assure, this is a holy mountain. No one in the Liang clan dares to defy the world and do something to defile the holy mountain. Moreover, I will go and come back quickly. I will definitely be back in the early morning tomorrow. What a coincidence. The prophet just fell asleep, and the order from the elders came. Blood Demon was a veteran warrior, and his experience in the Black Tower Star Arena taught him what intrigue is. He immediately smelled the smell of conspiracy. However, Blood Demon was of low status, and was just an ordinary guard beside Xia Xingchen. Besides, Elder Lu Chang was a Liang clan after all, and he was a human. Elder Lu Chang was determined to leave, and he couldn't say much, so he could only nod silently. Thank you for your hard work. Elder Lu Chang immediately condensed the rock armor, and together with Liang Lui, he went down the holy mountain, and entered the Liang clan elders council deep underground. As soon as Elder Lu Chang left, a group of people emerged from the foot of the holy mountain, and rushed to the top of the holy mountain along the narrow path surrounding the holy mountain. This group of people was the royal guards of the Liang clan led by Aolin. There were a total of 30 people, all of whom were women, and their strength was not inferior to that of Elder Lu Chang, who was hailed as a genius. At this moment, Aolin was wearing rock armor, looking majestic, holding a huge two-handed hammer in both hands, which was surrounded by dark red light. The members of the royal guards behind him were also all well equipped, with murderous intent boiling, holding various huge weapons in their hands, and following Aolin with steady steps, rushing towards the top of the holy mountain. We rush to the top of the holy mountain, and kill the humans quickly. Then we will go down the mountain immediately. This matter must be kept secret, and no one can leak it. Otherwise, the 9 clans will be killed. A cold light flashed in Aolin's pair of phoenix eyes. Yes. The members of the royal guards responded in a low voice. Rumors have spread on Wanshi Star. It is said that the human Xia Xingchen has already been appointed as the savior by the prophet. The Liang clan would not have any reaction to killing a small human. However, on the holy mountain, under the eyes of the prophet, a savior appointed by her was killed. If this matter spreads, even Queen Kilu will have a hard time handling it. Although Her Majesty the Queen is respected, the prophet's prestige among the lower levels of the Liang clan is also very high. If this matter is not handled well, the Liang clan may even split and start a civil war. By then, I'm afraid that, if the three-legged golden crow, the god of destruction, does not cause the helium flash of the Liang star, the civil war of the Liang clan will destroy itself. In short, this matter must be kept secret, and must not be spread out. We have reached the top of the mountain. Everyone hide your breath. Xia Xingchen is very powerful, and you must strike with thunder. Let him have no power to fight back. Orin whispered. The body of the Liang clan is made of rock minerals. Although they are huge, they are naturally good at hiding. Especially in the dark. Once the breath is hidden, it is no different from rock, and is extremely difficult to detect. Aolin led the royal guards. In addition to protecting the safety of Queen Kilu, they also took on some dirty work, and carried out some assassinations, to help the queen eliminate dissidents. Therefore, they were very confident in their concealment skills. However, before they approached the top of the mountain, a tall figure slowly walked out from the side of the road and blocked them. It was Blood Demon 1. Blood Demon 1 drove the Zhuang Mecha, and blocked the end of the mountain road, blocking the way of Aolin and others. Seeing this group of people with murderous intent and weapons in hand, a cold smile appeared on Blood Demon 1's handsome and pale face, like the cold wind of Siberia, and whispered, I guessed right, there is indeed a conspiracy. The Zhuang Mecha is 10 meters tall, and after Aolin condensed the rock armor, his height is about 50 meters. Compared with the Liang warriors, the Mecha is like a fragile baby. Blood Demon 1 stood on the top of the mountain, with a height almost the same as that of Commander Aolin on the mountain road, and looked at this dark-skinned foreign woman with level eyes. Human. Get out of here right now. I can consider sparing your life. Otherwise, I will let you die with your master Xia Xingchen. Arlin no longer concealed his murderous intent. His face was cold, and every pore on his body was shining with golden light. The whole person turned into a ball of light, staring at the front. If you want to go up the mountain, you have to step over my dead body. The blood demon raised his head, proud and unyielding, without any fear, and without any intention of retreating. Chapter 1169 My name. Arrogant human. Do you think I dare not kill you, just because you have the prophet protecting you? Commander Orin was furious, and roared in a low voice. The narrow mountain road of the holy mountain was filled with stone statues on both sides, all of which were transformed from the ancestors of the fiery Sun clan. These stone statues took up most of the mountain road. Therefore, the mountain road at this moment seemed narrow, and could only accommodate one fiery Sun clan warrior. The holy mountain is the ancestral land of the fiery Sun clan. Every member of the fiery Sun clan, relying on the power of the rock armor, has the ability to fly, and can even directly pass through the atmosphere, fly into the universe, and fight in the starry sky. However, they cannot fly in the holy mountain. This is disrespectful to their ancestors. Blood Demon 1 drove the Mecha, and stood in the middle of the mountain road, blocking the road tightly, with the momentum of one man blocking the pass and 10,000 men unable to open it. Commander Orin didn't want to say much to Blood Demon 1. In her eyes, humans are inherently humble, not to mention that Blood Demon 1 is a lowly servant. The Fiery Sun clan is a race that believes in respecting the strong. The strong are respected, and the fittest survive. This is the survival rule they believe in. Moreover, Commander Orin could feel the fluctuations of Blood Demon 1's mental power. He was not strong, but a weakling. Arlin looked down on the weak. However, Arlin was also afraid. She was not afraid of Xia Xingchen, nor was she afraid of Blood Demon 1. She was afraid of the prophet. Although Queen Kilu kept saying that the prophet had fallen into a deep sleep. However, the majesty and power of the prophet were still deeply imprinted in Arlin's heart. She didn't want to make too much noise before killing Xia Xingchen. I'll say it for the last time. Get out. Arlin was very angry, and said in a low voice. Blood Demon 1 was silent. He only said the warrior's declaration once. At this moment, there was only a fight to the death. Facing the Blood Demon 1 who was ready to die, Arlin became even more angry, and his fingers were tightly clenched on the warhammer. Commander, why use a butcher knife to kill a chicken? Let me do it. You guys take this opportunity to go around. A purple-haired woman spoke, with magma flowing on her body, and hot and bright sparks constantly bursting out from the cracks in her rock armor. She had a beautiful face and a serious expression. She asked for permission before the battle, wanting to fight Blood Demon 1. Of course, she had this confidence, and she felt that Blood Demon 1's mental strength was not strong. If she took action, she could kill this humble human in an instant. This female warrior of the Liang clan was one of the most capable generals that Queen Kilu valued the most, and her strength far exceeded that of other members of the royal guard. Even Orin, the commander, was not sure of winning against her. Okay, Mazin, don't hold back. Orin nodded and agreed to let Mazin fight. Afterwards, Orin instructed the people behind him, Mazin, deal with this human. We will find a chance to bypass him. We must be fast, and not be held back by him. Yes, sir. The faces of all the royal guards were solemn at this moment, and their eyes were filled with strong murderous intent. Mazin's long purple hair was scattered behind her. She was wearing a rock armor with lava flowing on it. She held a long halberd in her hand with flames flowing on it. She approached Blood Demon 1 step by step, and a smile appeared on her cold face. Human, tell me your name. I, Mazin, will not kill nameless people. Her eyes were contemptuous, sweeping over Blood Demon 1's body, looking down at this human male from a high place, with the corners of her mouth slightly upturned, full of disdain. Big is strong, small is weak. This is a rule in the universe. There are occasional exceptions, but it applies in most cases. Mazin's rock armor is 50 meters long, a giant that stands tall. With one kick, the short human mecha will be smashed to pieces. Blood Demon 1 was silent for a long time, his face kept changing, and finally he raised his head, his eyes flashing with a resolute light. My name is Blood Demon 1. Mazin's words hit Blood Demon 1's heart. Blood Demon 1 was originally the deputy leader of the distinguished Snow Demon Knights. Because Regent Andre was killed by Xia Xingchen, they were afraid of being punished by the tyrannical Emperor Nicholas the Great, and killing 9 clans, so they chose to fake their death, abandoned their former honors and even their own names, and fled to the chaotic Starfield, to live a miserable life. From that moment on, Blood Demon 1 swore that he was a person without a name and identity. In the underground arena of Black Tower Star, Blood Demon 1 once felt that he was as humble as mud, even worse than the lowest slave prisoners. Because those slave prisoners at least have their own names. Even the guard dogs have their own names. Blood Demon 1 doesn't have it. He thinks he doesn't deserve it. It wasn't until he met Xia Xingchen again, the enemy he once hated, that Blood Demon 1 regained his dignity. Since then, Blood Demon 1 felt like he was living like a human again, not a dog. Not only Blood Demon 1, but all the people in the Blood Demon group were loyal to Xia Xingchen. Because Xia Xingchen gave them dignity. From then on, Blood Demon 1 was his name. Blood Demon 1. What a damn name. Mazin sneered. Forget it. I don't want to delay you for too long. Kill. As soon as the voice fell, Mazin waved the huge halberd, and the dark red flames on it suddenly boiled up, and bombarded forward. Boom. The halberd was swung, accompanied by the loud sound of lava bursting, and the night sky was illuminated by the flames, like daylight. Blood Demon 1 drove the Zhuang Mecha, holding a laser sword in one hand and a huge shield flashing red light in the other. One sword and one shield. This is the standard configuration of the Blood Demon group. The sword can attack, and the shield can defend, which is most suitable for group combat. However, Blood Demon 1 was alone, and there were no comrades behind him. What a terrifying attack. Blood Demon 1 was shocked by Mazin's attack. Judging from the might of her attack alone, her strength is equivalent to that of a human S-class Mecha Master. Blood Demon 1 is only an A-class Mecha Master. Unlike Xia Xingchen, Blood Demon 1 is so strong that he can challenge an S-class Mecha Master at A-class due to the powerful performance of his Mecha. At S-class, he can even challenge a legend. Blood Demon 1's strength is not weak. He is a leader among his peers, and has been through many battles, and experienced life and death moments. However, compared with Xia Xingchen, Blood Demon 1 is just an ordinary Mecha Master. There is no chance of winning when he competes with an S-class Mecha Master with A-class strength. This is a level crushing, a strength crushing, a battle without suspense. Facing the terrifying attack, Blood Demon 1 did not retreat a single step. He gritted his teeth, held the shield in his right hand, and went forward instead. Boom. The huge halberd, sandwiched with red flames, slammed into the shield. Suddenly, the shield made of super alloy was completely sunken, and the flowing fire overflowed, surrounding the damaged shield, and instantly melted into liquid. The right arm of the Xuanyang mecha was also melted by the flowing fire. A mere human, vulnerable. Ma Xin raised the corner of his mouth, revealing a cold smile on his face. How dare you stop me? You really don't know how to live or die. Chapter 1170 Coward. Warrior. Ma Xin's strength was extremely terrifying. The huge halberd was waving, and the flames were overflowing. It had the terrifying power to burn the heavens. With just one blow, the shield on the right arm of the Xuanyang mecha driven by Blood Demon 1 was burned, and half of the arm was destroyed. The Xuanyang mecha was designed and manufactured by Xia Xingchen himself. It has superior performance. It is equipped with God's gold armor on its body, which can reflect laser light, and is good at group combat. However, the Xuanyang mecha is a mass-produced mecha after all, and the Liang people do not use laser weapons at all. Instead, they rely on their racial talents to condense rock armor for close combat. The God's gold armor has little effect at this moment, and can be almost ignored. Facing the powerful Ma Xin, Blood Demon 1 did not retreat a single step. The laser sword in his hand cut down, and chopped hard on her rock armor. Bang! Sparks flew. Although the rock armor was hard, it also had a deep scar under the cutting of the laser sword. Damn human. How dare you hurt me? Ma Xin was furious. While mobilizing his mental power to repair the damaged armor, he strode forward with a huge stride, sweeping through the army with the flaming halberd in his hand, intending to knock the Xuanyang armor away. Bang! Ma Xin thought that Blood Demon 1 would definitely dodge, and even if he didn't dodge, he would definitely be blown away by the huge force of the halberd. However, what she didn't expect was that a flash of determination flashed in Blood Demon 1's eyes. The Xuanyang mecha's one arm let go of the laser sword and took a step forward. The one arm clamped the halberd tightly into his ribs. The mecha's body retreated dozens of meters continuously, with its back against the mountain. The whole body was trapped in it, but it still blocked the way of the royal guards. Human. You are very brave. Arlin and the members of the royal guards were all shocked at this moment, and couldn't help but exclaimed. The Liang clan worships strength and respects warriors. Blood Demon 1's behavior of fighting against the strong with the weak, and vowing not to retreat, was enough to make Arlin and others stand in awe. But, you are looking for death. Ma Xin shouted, his eyes red, and the huge halberd turned into boiling magma, flowing onto the Xuanyang mecha. The temperature of the magma was extremely high, and white smoke was lingering. The alloy armor of the Xuanyang mecha could not resist it, and was instantly melted into liquid. The entire Xuanyang mecha, like a snowman exposed to the sun, began to melt all over. In the cockpit, the life support device made a shrill sound, indicating that the indoor temperature had exceeded 500 degrees, so Blood Demon 1 immediately abandoned the plane and escaped. In the driver's seat, Blood Demon 1's whole body was emitting white smoke. Although the mecha combat suit could maintain a constant temperature, the temperature regulation system had no effect in such a terrifying high temperature. He could only desperately mobilize his mental power to resist the high temperature. Blood Demon 1's mental power was consumed very quickly. He knew that in a few minutes, his flesh would be burned, his blood would be dried, and even his whole body would be burned to ashes. However, Blood Demon 1 still held the huge halberd tightly, without retreating a single step. My Lord Marquis, thank you for your kindness. I can't follow you any longer. 2 lines of hot tears flowed from Blood Demon 1's eyes, and were instantly dried up, and turned into white smoke. Alyosha, and my 2 children. Forgive me, I'm not a qualified father. At the last moment of his life, surrounded by flames, burning like an oven in the hot mecha, Blood Demon 1 appeared in front of a picture. In the winter of Siberia, the wind was biting, and snow was flying all over the sky. A tall blonde girl, wearing a fur coat, holding the hands of 2 children, stood on the white snowfield, looking up at the vast starry sky, looking forward to it. Mom, will Dad come back? A child asked in a low voice. Yes. I know he is not dead. He will definitely come back. Your father is a hero. The blonde girl spoke in a low voice, tears dripping from her thin cheeks. Before they fell to the ground, they froze into crystal clear ice beads in midair, as bright as diamonds. I want to be a hero too. A mecha warrior like my father, a starry sky hero. The other child's face was red from the cold wind, and his clear blue eyes looking up at the starry sky were full of admiration. Blood Demon 1. Surrender. I command you to surrender immediately. On the top of the holy mountain, Wanshi Star, Xia Xingchen was still in a state of stone breath. His body could not move, but his perception was sharp. His spiritual sense swept through, and he knew everything that happened around him. Arlin's group was very powerful, not to mention Blood Demon 1. Even if Xia Xingchen took action himself, he might not have a chance of winning. He realized that Blood Demon 1 was in extreme danger, and he was anxious. Through his mental power, he directly transmitted his voice to Blood Demon 1's mind. My Lord Marquis, this is a war. There is no need for cowards on the battlefield. I have already escaped once. I will not escape a second time. I'm not a coward. Blood Demon 1 shook his head, his pale face full of bitter smiles. His lips were cracked, and there was very little water left in his body. He was almost like a dried body. Has Blood Demon 1 ever thought about escaping? Even ants are greedy for life. What's more, Blood Demon 1 has a family on the other side of the distant starry sky who are eagerly waiting for his return. For the sake of his family, Blood Demon 1 has already escaped once. From then on, he was labeled a coward and lived a life worse than death. He doesn't want to experience this kind of life a second time. A coward for a lifetime and a warrior for a second. Blood Demon 1 chooses the second one. My Lord Marquis, this is all I can do. Even if I can buy you even 1 second of time. This is also the most brilliant moment in my life. The Zhuang mecha was already burning like a torch, and the cockpit was also a sea of fire. The mecha combat suit on Blood Demon 1 turned into ashes, and fell off piece by piece, revealing his severely burned dry flesh underneath. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Xia Xingchen fell into a frenzy, and his powerful mental power kept shaking. He wanted to break through the physical confinement of Shizi and immediately drive the Qinglang mecha to save Blood Demon 1. However, the light particle alienation technique is a secret technique passed down by ancient humans. Its defects are as obvious as its advantages. Xia Xingchen simply cannot break the petrified state in a short time. All Xia Xingchen can do at this moment is to watch Blood Demon 1, the comrade in arms who once followed him to the bloody sea of stars, being burned to ashes by the enemy. Xia Xingchen's body was unable to move, and 2 bloody tears slowly flowed down his cheeks. I won't accept it. I won't accept it. I can't even protect my own comrades. I won't accept it. Xia Xingchen shouted in his heart. However, this is a cruel war. The passionate shouting cannot change any results. The only thing that can change the war is strength. As if sensing Xia Xingchen's anger and unwillingness, in his mind, the pyramid that had been sleeping for a long time suddenly floated and rotated, emitting a brilliant light. Chapter 1171 Low, Noble. Xia Xingchen's body was still unable to move. As the light of the crystal pyramid became brighter and brighter, the powerful mental power condensed into a figure and appeared next to his body. Mental power clone. Xia Xingchen had just realized a new ability, a life-sized mental power clone. This mental power clone was completely different from the previous clones. The previous mental power clones were like organs such as Xia Xingchen's hands and feet, which were part of the body and could be controlled at will. This mental power clone was like Xia Xingchen separating another body, with the same status as his original body, without any difference in status. Although the body cannot move. Fortunately, I have a mental power clone. Xia Xingchen's clone was made of mental power, flashing a faint white light, and a crystal pyramid was suspended in the position of his mind, appearing and disappearing from time to time. The feeling of the mental power clone is completely different from the physical body. Xia Xingchen felt refreshed. Save Blood Demon 1 first. Xia Xingchen didn't have time to think about it. His mental clone was teleported to the inside of Hai's mecha in a flash, floating above the driver's seat. This is the difference between the mental clone and the physical body. If the physical body wants to teleport, even if it is a very short distance flash, it will consume a huge amount of energy. However, if the mental body wants to teleport, it will consume much less energy. Boom. The mental clone manipulated the huge Hai mecha to stand up, strode to Mazin, and waved his hand, and slapped Mazin away. The speed of Hai's mecha was too fast. Mazin didn't even have time to react. he was instantly slapped thousands of meters away. The rock armor all over his body shattered and turned into stone dust. Mazin lost the protection of the rock armor, and blood gushed out of his facial features. His purple hair was flying, and he was unconscious. He fell directly from the top of the holy mountain, thousands of meters high, and fell into the endless darkness at the foot of the mountain. Bang! After a long time, there was a barely audible sound of a heavy object falling to the ground. At such a height, even if the Liang people were as tough as rocks, without the protection of the rock armor, they would have been seriously injured and in danger of death. The powerful Mazin was as fragile as a newborn baby in front of Xia Xingchen, who was driving the Hai mecha and had no power to fight back. On the Hai mecha, Xia Xingchen's mental clone floated in the air, his face cold and without a smile. Extinguish it. Xia Xingchen's powerful mental power enveloped it, instantly extinguishing the flame on the Zhuang mecha, and the temperature of the steel quickly dropped to normal. Crack. Crack. Thermal expansion and contraction. The sudden and drastic temperature change exceeded the temperature threshold of the alloy, and the surface had completely melted into liquid. The Zhuang mecha, which was like ice cream, suddenly cracked the alloy, and countless large and small holes appeared. This Zhuang mecha was completely scrapped. Xia Xingchen didn't feel distressed at all. He only cared about the safety of Blood Demon 1. This is, oh my god, it's Hao Yi, the legendary savior Hao Yi. The rumors are true. This human can actually control Hao Yi, who has been silent for tens of thousands of years. Mazin was slapped away by Xia Xingchen. Arlin was very angry and was about to lead her men to besiege Xia Xingchen. However, when Arlin saw clearly that the mecha driven by Xia Xingchen was the legendary hero of the Liang tribe, the savior who hunted the three-legged golden crow, they were all dumbfounded. Arlin's mind was blank, and she even forgot to order someone to go to the foot of the mountain to rescue Mazin. Shock enveloped the hearts of every member of the Liang tribe. The queen's order must be carried out. However, no matter how brave Arlin and the others were, they did not dare to fight with Hao Yi's mecha. What's more, they may not be the opponent of Hao Yi's mecha. Get out of my way. You'd better pray that Blood Demon 1 is not in danger of death. Otherwise, I will make your entire Liang clan be buried with him. Xia Xingchen was extremely angry, and his eyes swept over everyone, as if he was looking at a chicken or a dog. The entire Liang clan will be buried with him. When the people of the Liang clan heard this, not only did they not think of laughing, but they shuddered together, and their backs were instantly soaked with cold sweat. Xia Xingchen's words were not just casually said, he did what he said. Hai mecha bent down, and with two big hands, he struggled to tear open the Zhuang mecha that had solidified like a steel block, and rescued the dying Blood Demon 1. Blood Demon 1 was severely dehydrated, with a large area of burns on his body, and his mental power was severely overdrawn, and there were blood scabs on his face. Seeing Blood Demon 1's miserable appearance, Xia Xingchen's heart couldn't help but twitch, as if a knife was twisting. Fortunately, Blood Demon 1 was still alive. His eyelids drooped, and he couldn't open his eyes. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly, as if he wanted to say something. But his strength was too weak, and his voice was barely as soft as a mosquito's hum. If Xia Xingchen had not opened his omniscience field, which could capture even the smallest sound, he would not have been able to hear clearly what Blood Demon 1 was saying. After hearing Blood Demon 1's words clearly, Xia Xingchen's face was moved. After a long silence, he said, Blood Demon 1, I understand. You take a rest first. I will take you back to the Star Domain Arc immediately. The emergency room there will definitely save you. Blood Demon 1 then closed his eyes. Due to the great pain caused by the severe burns on his body, he fell into a state of shock. Xia Xingchen carefully placed Blood Demon 1 in the huge cockpit of Hao Yi's mecha and strode towards Aolin and others. Human, what do you want? Even if you are the savior, you can't do whatever you want. We didn't know. If we had known you were the savior, we wouldn't. It's not too late now. We just hurt one of your lowly servants. Aolin and others were panicked at the moment, talking at once, and hurriedly defended themselves. Low-class servants? Xia Xingchen sneered. You self-proclaimed nobles of the Liang clan. Don't you know how low and ugly you are in front of a servant like Blood Demon 1? Do you know what Blood Demon 1 said to me before he fainted? Xia Xingchen's words were filled with grief and indignation. He knows how I deal with people and knows that I never leave any room for maneuver. He begged me to forgive you. Did you hear that clearly? His injuries were so serious, but he still begged me to forgive you. He said that you were just soldiers, obeying orders from your superiors, and it was not your fault. In fact, if it weren't for Blood Demon 1 begging for you, everyone who climbed the holy mountain today, I will make you bleed in front of your ancestors. Let your ancestors see how filthy their descendants are. Xia Xingchen's eyes were filled with murderous intent, but he finally suppressed it. After all, he had promised Blood Demon 1. For the sake of Blood Demon 1, I will spare your lives. Go back and tell that damn queen of yours. I, Xia Xingchen, will personally seek justice from her. After Xia Xingchen finished speaking, his mental clone controlled the Hawaii Mecha, allowing the immobile original body to enter the cockpit, rise from the ground, fly towards the sky, instantly pass through the atmosphere, and enter the star domain arc docked in the outer orbit. Chapter 1172 Celebration Day. What kind of mecha is this? I've never seen one before. On the star domain arc, Li Huamei looked at the observation instrument. The screen showed that a huge mecha as high as 50 meters flew out from Wanshi Star at an extremely fast speed, passed through the atmosphere, and flew straight towards the star domain arc. As the strange mecha approached, Li Huamei's pretty face showed panic. It's me, Xia Xingchen. Open the hatch immediately, and prepare the emergency equipment. Xia Xingchen's voice came from the intercom, and the star domain arc's mental power detector detected that the mental power fluctuations of the person who came were indeed Xia Xingchen. Prepare the short distance teleporter to pick up the Marquis. Li Huamei shouted. Jia got the news and immediately started the teleporter. A white light enveloped and teleported Hai's mecha to the interior of the star domain arc. Ordinary human warships need 2 layers of sealed cabins to dock in space to prevent air leakage and decompression. However, the star domain arc's technology is too advanced, and it can be directly teleported without the need for a sealed cabin. Swish. A flash of white light flashed, and Hai's mecha entered the star domain arc. Xia Xingchen's body finally recovered from the petrified state. He jumped down from the cockpit with his hands holding the wounded Blood Demon 1. Xingchen. What happened? How did he get injured like this? Kinjana and her men hurried over, her face full of concern, followed by the emergency team in white coats, and 2 male nurses pushing a stretcher. Don't mention it. Someone has plotted against him. Xia Xingchen waved his hands angrily. Don't mention this. Save Blood Demon 1 first. The paramedics of the emergency team came up immediately. After measuring Blood Demon 1's blood pressure and heart rate, a doctor had a serious expression, gave him a shot of cardiotonic, and told Xia Xingchen, Mr. Marquis, his injuries are very serious, and he needs surgery immediately. At any cost. Xia Xingchen's voice was cold. Watching the emergency personnel put Blood Demon 1 on the stretcher and push him away, Xia Xingchen suddenly felt dizzy. Fortunately, Kinjana found something wrong and hurriedly came up to support him. Xingchen, your mental power is weak. Something is not right. Kinjana's mental power level is not high, but she is very careful, and soon found out that Xia Xingchen is not right. I barely drove the Hawaii Mecha, and my mental power was overdrawn, and my body suffered a little backlash. Xia Xingchen waved his hand, squeezed a smile on his face, and looked at Kinjana with a concerned face. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'll be fine after a few days of rest. To drive the Hawaii Mecha, the mental power required is amazing. Xia Xingchen's original body can't drive the Hawaii Mecha, let alone his mental power clone. Fortunately, the crystal pyramid temporarily provided a lot of mental power, which allowed Xia Xingchen to perform beyond his normal level and temporarily drive the Hawaii Mecha to scare off Aolin and others. Thanks to it, the Liang people admired the Hawaii Mecha very much, and dared not to be enemies with it. If a fight really broke out, Xia Xingchen would drive the Hawaii Mecha, and his mental power was insufficient, so he might not be the opponent of Aolin and his group. Xingchen, don't force yourself. If the Liang people don't want you to help hunt the 3-legged crow, we might as well go back first. The universe is so big, and the 3-legged crow may not be the only one on Liang Star. Kinjana persuaded in a low voice. Although she knew that Xia Xingchen would never change his mind, she was really worried about Xia Xingchen's safety. As Xia Xingchen's fiancé, Xingchen knew that Xia Xingchen would not listen to her on this matter, but she still persuaded him. Jaina. Thank you. I understand what you mean. Xia Xingchen stared at Xingchen's beautiful little face and said in a gentle voice, I have made up my mind. And they heard Blood Demon 1. I must seek justice for him. Ah. Xingchen sighed and said softly, Xingchen, no matter what you do, I will support you. But you must pay attention to your own safety. Don't worry. Xia Xingchen rested for a while, and the dizziness in his head eased. He walked slowly to the huge porthole of the bridge, looked down at Xia Xingchen not far away, and said coldly, Queen, I swear, you will pay the price for your despicable behavior. That night, everything that happened on the holy mountain was like an illusory dream. No one remembered it at all, and no one mentioned it. The prophet was still in a deep sleep. When Elder Lu Chang returned to Xia Xingchen, he was arrested by the Queen's men before he had time to enter the Elders' Council, and was imprisoned for treason. Xia Xingchen was calm, and everyone was in high spirits, preparing for the grand celebration a few days later. The Queen even sent out her guards to control the spread of rumors. However, there is no impenetrable wall. The rumor that the human named Xia Xingchen is the savior spread like a plague within the Liang clan. Finally, the time came to the day of the Liang clan celebration. Liang Festival. This is the Liang clan's grandest festival. The Liang clan worships Liang Star and names their clan after Liang Star. On this day, all the Liang clan members must come to the surface from the underground city and thank the god of life for his grace under the sun. The originally desolate surface of Liang Star was decorated with lights and full of festive atmosphere. All the Liang clan members, whether men, women, young or old, came to the surface in their best clothes and bathed in the sun. In addition to the ceremony of thanking the god of life Liang Star, there are also many celebration performances that attract the young people of the Liang clan. However, almost all the performance stages of the celebrations were deserted. Everyone gathered on the huge plain under the holy mountain. Hundreds of thousands of people were bustling around, watching the huge arena of hundreds of thousands of square meters set up on the plain. The queen, dressed in colorful clothes, sat on a high platform in the center of the arena, watching the countless young warriors of the Liang tribe fighting and competing on the arena. The queen chose the day of the Liang festival to select the brave hunters through the arena competition. A month later, the queen will personally take these brave hunters to fly to Liang Star to hunt the three-legged golden crow. This is an unprecedented event for the Liang tribe and naturally attracted the attention of all the Liang tribe members. On each arena, there are warriors of the Liang tribe fighting. Winners are constantly being selected, wearing laurel crowns, wearing colorful cloaks, waving their hands, and accepting the cheers of countless people. The losers will not be laughed at today. Every Liang tribe member who dares to challenge is a warrior and is respected by people. Your Majesty, after a day of fierce competition, 4,000 sun hunters have been selected. The 10 people behind me are the top 10 warriors. Oren walked up to the platform, prostrated in front of the queen, and reported the selection situation to her. Oren was originally the queen's confidant, and she had made great contributions in expelling Xia Xingchen from the holy mountain a few days ago. Regardless of the process, the result was that humans fled Wanshi Star in disgrace. The queen was very satisfied with Oren's performance, praised him, promoted him one level, and made him her personal guard. Well, not bad. Let the warriors come up. I will bless them personally. A smile appeared on the queen's beautiful face. At this moment, there was a rumbling sound in the sky, and a cyan mecha fell from the sky and hovered above the arena. My queen, how are you? Xia Xingchen came alone, with no fear on his face, but a relaxed look, greeting the queen. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1173 Challenge the Fiery Sun Clan. Human. It's Xia Xingchen, a strong man among humans. He is so bold that he came alone. Is there any conspiracy? No matter what conspiracy there is, I'm not afraid. It's not the first time that humans have come to our Wanshi Star. With Her Majesty the Queen here, we will let humans know what it means to come but not return. On the ground, countless people of the Liang tribe looked up at the floating words and the Qinglang mecha in the air. They all had contempt on their faces and looked down on them. Every race has its own vanity. Humans think they are the overlords of the galaxy. How can the Liang tribe not think that their race is the greatest existence in the universe? However, it is a fact that human warships and mechas are powerful. The Liang tribe had some conflicts in their negotiations with humans. Almost every time, the Liang tribe ended in failure. It is precisely because of this that the Liang tribe believes that humans are despicable and have used conspiracy and tricks to win. The queen once led the Liang tribe to several victories in the conflict with humans. However, these insignificant victories were regarded as the greatest deeds by the Fiery Sun clan, and they were constantly passed down. This is not arrogance, but inferiority. After all, humans are the true overlords of the galaxy. Although the Fiery Sun clan can still maintain its independence, it is only because the planet is too remote. In fact, a long time ago, the queen of the previous generation of the Fiery Sun clan swore an oath to the Imperial Expeditionary Force, and the Fiery Sun clan has been a vassal of humans for generations. It is precisely because of this experience that the Fiery Sun clan feels psychologically inferior when facing humans. It is also because of this that the Fiery Sun clan is eager to prove its strength in front of humans and protect its little remaining dignity. Human, why did you go and come back? I said, my planet does not welcome you. The queen's voice was cold, and her eyes stared at Xia Xingchen. Aren't you selecting Sun Hunter warriors? It happens that I'm also interested. Xia Xingchen's eyes swept over the warriors on the ground with a kind expression. There are some misunderstandings between us. I think these misunderstandings can be explained. I'm willing to go to the Fiery Sun Star with you to hunt the god of destruction. It is better to resolve a feud than to create one. After a few days, Blood Demon 1's injury stabilized. Whenever he had time, he persuaded Xia Xingchen not to be an enemy of the Fiery Sun clan. Xia Xingchen was not a person who held grudges, although the queen's attitude was arrogant and her behavior was despicable. After calming down, Xia Xingchen put himself in the queen's shoes and understood the queen's thoughts. Those who are not of my race must have different hearts. In the universe, it is not only humans who have this famous saying. Other races are the same. They are generally very xenophobic and do not trust other races. This is not narrow-mindedness, but to protect themselves. Therefore, Xia Xingchen figured it out, and he decided to let go of his hatred and repay grievances with virtue. Even if the Fiery Sun clan despised and slandered him, he was still willing to help the Fiery Sun clan to overcome the difficulties. However, the queen did not appreciate it and sneered directly. I'm the Stern Sun clan, the greatest warrior in the universe. Do you still need a weak human like you to help? Get out of my planet immediately. Otherwise, my warriors will immediately conquer you. Weak? Xia Xingchen sneered, and the Azure Dragon mecha slowly landed on the ring, and shouted, since you don't appreciate it, then I have to prove my strength. Come on. Warriors of the Sun Clan. I challenge you. I will let you know who is the real strong one. Who is the real Sun Hunter warrior. Xia Xingchen's words immediately made the entire Wanshi star boil. Rampant. A mere human dares to speak so shamelessly. Dirty human dares to defile our sacred Sun Hunter warriors. How ridiculous. Countless people were spitting and shouting, cursing Xia Xingchen. The thousands of Sun Hunter warriors who had been selected were full of strong fighting spirit in their eyes. Human, don't be so arrogant. I, Huafu, will challenge you right now. Let you know how powerful the Liang clan is. Human. Although your warships are powerful, your bodies are very weak. I, Bukian, formally issue a challenge. A group of young Liang clan warriors were shouting out declarations of war at this moment. If they could defeat the humans in public, their names would be famous and even passed down through the ages. The queen's eyebrows were tightly furrowed. She didn't expect Xia Xingchen to be so arrogant. Not only did he come to Wanshi Star alone, but he also dared to challenge all the warriors of the Liang clan in public? Do you really think that there is no one in my Liang clan? The queen was furious in her heart, and frost covered her face. The queen was proud of her status, and could not fight Xia Xingchen in person. Otherwise, she really couldn't help but want to teach this ignorant human a lesson. Hundreds of sun hunters were challenging Xia Xingchen, but the queen remained silent and didn't say a word. She had seen Xia Xingchen's strength with her own eyes. Although he was weaker than her, Xia Xingchen was indeed stronger than most of the Liang people. If she rashly accepted Xia Xingchen's challenge, it would be fine if the Liang people won. If they lost, it would only boost others' morale and destroy her own prestige. However, if she didn't dare to accept the challenge, the queen felt bad because of the human's arrogance. Your Majesty, please let me fight. I'm the #1 hunter of the sun. If I can't win, no one can. A sturdy black-skinned young man stepped forward, knelt in front of the queen, and whispered, "Jurt." The queen lowered her head and looked at the young man. Even as noble as she was, she had heard of Jurt's name. Jurt was a hero of the Liang people. He had a great reputation among the people. He had killed many alien beasts with terrifying strength. He had also driven a meteorite spacecraft to travel in the universe and knew the methods of humans. In this competition, Jurt was able to stand out from countless fiery Sun Clan warriors. The queen also watched his competition in person and described him in 2 words, demon beast. Jurt was indeed like a demon beast, with terrifying strength. Even the queen herself, without using the sacred weapon of the fiery Sun Clan, might not be Jurt's opponent. Jurt, I allow you to take action. Teach this human a lesson. Promote the reputation of our fiery Sun Clan. A hint of joy appeared on the bridge of the queen, and she agreed to Jurt's request. Your Majesty, I won't let you down. Jurt's mouth corners turned up, revealing a hideous smile. He turned around and jumped onto the ring, facing Xia Xingchen, and said contemptuously, "Human. I'm Jurt of the Liang clan, the first sun hunter. In the name of the queen, I will punish you severely. Punch me. I want nothing more than that." But Xia Xingchen looked up at the queen and said calmly, "This game is unfair." Unfair? Our Liang clan has always been fair. How could it be unfair? The queen's face was cold, staring at Xia Xingchen. "It's very unfair. If I lose, we humans will not only lose face, but also very likely lose our lives. If I win by chance and prove my strength, I will have to help your Liang clan hunt the 3-legged golden crow. Then I will not benefit from it, whether I win or lose." Xia Xingchen said with a chuckle. "Then what do you say we should do?" The queen stared at Xia Xingchen. 2 conditions. Xia Xingchen held up 2 fingers. "First, I always do things fairly and never take things that do not belong to the owner. If I win, then the ownership of the Hawaii mecha that I drove away on the top of the holy mountain will be mine. It has nothing to do with you, the Liang clan." Boom. Xia Xingchen's words once again caused an uproar on the entire Wanshi star. On the top of the holy mountain stands a divine object called Hawaii, which was left by the celestial being 10,000 years ago. Every member of the Liang clan has heard the legend of Hawaii since childhood. According to the legend, the person who can control Hawaii is the savior of the Liang clan. However, 10,000 years have passed, and no one has been able to truly control Hawaii. Now, this human keeps saying that Hawaii has been driven away by him. He is asking for the ownership of Hawaii in return. Could it be that he is the legendary savior? Chapter 1174, Strong Battle. Savior. Rumor has it that the one who can control Haoyi is the savior. Oh my god. Was the Haoyi mecha on the top of the holy mountain really taken away by the inheritor of the celestial being? Thousands of Liang people were talking about this at the moment, and their incredible eyes were cast on Xia Xingchen. The queen's face was as hen, and she almost vomited blood in anger. That night, the queen also spent a lot of money to cover up the incident on the top of the holy mountain. Unexpectedly, Xia Xingchen actually reported it in front of so many people so carelessly. Moreover, Xia Xingchen drove away the Haoyi mecha. For every Liang member, his behavior was a despicable act of theft. You said you stole the things quietly and forget it. Now, you are careless and come back to ask the owner for the ownership of the Haoyi mecha? There are such shameless people in the universe. The queen's chest couldn't stop rising and falling, and she really wanted to slap Xia Xingchen into a pulp. However, in front of the people of the Liang tribe, she had to pretend to be calm and looked like a queen. How aggrieved she was. Humph. Human. You stole the sacred object of my tribe, and you dare to ask me for the ownership? Well, he has been sleeping for tens of thousands of years. For my tribe, the symbolic meaning is greater than its practical meaning. I promise you, if you win, this mecha is yours. No one from the Liang tribe can take it back from you. The queen took a few deep breaths, finally calmed down, snorted coldly, and said lightly, haha, thank you queen. I have a second condition. Xia Xingchen bowed and thanked him. I heard that Elder Lu Chang was arrested on trumped up charges. If I win, please pardon Elder Lu Chang and forgive his sins. Human, you even want to interfere in the internal affairs of our Liang clan. The queen's face became even uglier, but I'm generous and will agree to you. Because you can never be the opponent of my Liang clan warriors. The queen gnashed her teeth in hatred. She didn't want to see Xia Xingchen for a second. Not to mention such a small matter as releasing Elder Lu Chang. She would also agree to unreasonable requests. Anyway, in the queen's opinion, Xia Xingchen could not win. I have no problem. Seeing that the queen agreed to the two conditions very readily, Xia Xingchen realized that she was extremely contemptuous of herself, and a sneer appeared on her face. Okay, I announce the competition between humans and our warrior Jert. Start now. The queen was impatient and immediately announced the start of the game. After hearing the queen's announcement of the start of the competition, hundreds of thousands of people from the Liang tribe gathered on the plain cheered excitedly, their voices resounding through the sky, and even the earth was shaking slightly. Jert, Jert, Jert. For a moment, the people of the Liang tribe were extremely excited, shouting Jert's name. Jert was the #1 sun hunter, and he had just demonstrated his overwhelming strength on the ring. He was indeed qualified to fight against the human powerhouse Xia Xingchen. In other words, if even Jert was not Xia Xingchen's opponent, then it was estimated that only the queen herself could go to the ring to suppress Xia Xingchen's arrogant arrogance. Of course, the queen was proud of her status, and it was impossible for her to go down in person and fight Xia Xingchen in public. Thank you for your support. The black-skinned young man Jert, standing on the high stage, swept his eyes across the faces of thousands of cheering tribesmen, and was also very excited. He shouted loudly, I, Jert of the Liang clan, I will definitely defeat humans. Win for my Liang clan. I will definitely win. Promote the reputation of my Liang clan. Win, win, win. Hundreds of thousands of Liang clan members roared together, their faces full of madness. There is no doubt that among all the people present, no one cheered for Xia Xingchen or applauded him. In the Qinglang Mecha, Xia Xingchen silently watched the atmosphere on the scene rise, and his right hand slightly grasped the joystick, cheering himself up in his heart. Win. That's right, I must win. What I carry on my body, in addition to the blood debt of the blood demon one's serious injury, I also carry the dignity of mankind. I'm now representing the entire human race and fighting the enemy. Xia Xingchen is the biggest traitor in the Galactic Empire and a wanted person with a huge reward. But on Wanshi Star, in front of hundreds of thousands of Liang clan members, he is not only himself, he also represents the glory and dignity of mankind. If Xia Xingchen loses, he will not only lose his life, moreover, the prestige that humans have spent hundreds of years to build up will be gone. Jert will become a hero of the Liang clan, famous and even famous for generations. Win. You must win. Facing the overwhelming cheers, Xia Xingchen showed a touch of confidence on his face. Human. Come on. I'll let you taste the methods of our Liang clan. The black-skinned young man Jert stood on the ring, full of vigor and contempt on his face, and hooked his index finger at Xia Xingchen. Jert once drove a spaceship to adventure in the universe, and he knew that this gesture was contempt and insult to humans. Whoosh. Xia Xingchen remained silent and did not respond. He drove the Qinglang Mecha into the air and landed on the ring. Fight, fight, fight. Kill, kill, kill. Jert, kill the human. Don't hold back. Kill him. The shouts of hundreds of thousands of people came from under the ring, and a powerful airwave sounded, even to overturn the ring. Facing the crazy roars and shouts of hundreds of thousands of people at the same time, even Xia Xingchen felt a strong sense of oppression, and couldn't help holding his breath. fighting away from home. The disadvantage is too great. The battle has not yet begun, but the momentum has already lost. However, Xia Xingchen still had a confident smile on his face. He looked across and saw that a rock armor had condensed on Jert's body. The rock armor on Jert's body was different from that of other members of the Liang clan. Most of the rock armor condensed by the Liang clan was black or red. This was related to the practice they practiced. However, the rock armor on Jert's body was golden, like a dazzling sun. In the golden color, there were faint blood red rays of light, revealing a mysterious taste. The rock armor was huge, 70 meters high. Jert's body was wrapped in the rock armor and deeply sunk into it, with only his head exposed. At this moment, Jert's face was also full of strange fanaticism. A strong sense of racial honor, as well as the attention, support, and roars of hundreds of thousands of people, filled his brain with nothing but a strong will to fight. Win. I must win. Even if I have to fight to pieces, I must win along with all humans. Jert screamed loudly in his heart, with a ferocious expression on his face, just as the queen had said of him, like a bloodthirsty monster. Chapter 1175. Humans are nothing but this. Wanshi star, outer orbit. The star domain arc floated quietly in the universe. The atmosphere inside the star domain arc was very tense. All the crew members followed Xingchen and gathered on the bridge, staring at the large screen suspended in the air. On the large screen, it was a real-time picture of the arena on the Great Plain under the holy mountain of Wanshi Star. With the technology of the star domain arc, it was not difficult to capture a clear picture of the surface of the starry sky directly in the starry sky. Even if there were clouds blocking it, a small drone could be released to the surface of the planet to transmit the picture back. Xia, have the coordinates been determined? Xingchen stared at Xia Xingchen's figure on the screen and asked Xia. Your Highness, the coordinates have been determined. The transmission device can be turned on at any time. Xia said. Okay. Wait a minute. If Xingchen is in any danger, whether he agrees or not, immediately start the transmission device and transmit him back to the star domain arc. No matter what, his safety must be guaranteed. Xingchen ordered. Yes. Everyone answered together. Xingchen, please forgive me. I must ensure your safety. There can't be any mistakes. Xingchen said silently. Wanshi Star, Great Plain. Hundreds of thousands of Liang people stared at the two figures on the ring, holding their breath, waiting for the battle to begin. On the ring, Jert, who condensed the golden rock armor, and Xia Xingchen, who was driving the Azure Dragon Mecha, faced each other from a distance. Liang tribe Jert. Jert was ready and shouted loudly. Human Xia Xingchen. Xia Xingchen was also ready. The battle begins. The queen personally announced the start of the game, and her voice resounded throughout the planet. The area of this ring is very large, with a length and width of 10 kilometers. However, for strong men like Jert and Xia Xingchen, a battlefield of 100 square kilometers is too small. Therefore, both of them chose to slowly rise into the air, suspended in the air, and use the sky as a battlefield. In Jert's hand, a golden spear condensed, and Xia Xingchen also condensed a silver double helix spear. Your weapon is also a spear. Jert grinned, staring at Xia Xingchen. Human. Although your technology is advanced, you are very weak in close combat. No need to talk nonsense. Try it and you will know. Xia Xingchen's expression was indifferent. Okay. Jert's eyes suddenly glowed with golden light, and the spear in his hand also shot out thousands of golden lights. Xia Xingchen squinted his eyes slightly and stared at his opponent. The silver double helix spear in the hands of the Qinglang Mecha was also covered with blue thunder light at this moment, like a swimming dragon. The double helix spear was transformed by Xia Xingchen's telekinesis. It originally did not have any attributes. Under the energy transmission of the Thunder Heart, it carried the terrifying power of thunder. What a powerful energy. Humans can actually condense weapons out of thin air. Rare. Really rare. However, compared to Jert, humans' energy is still inferior. As long as we, the Liang people, bathe in the sun and use solar energy, we have almost unlimited energy. Human mechas use nuclear fusion. Although the explosive power is strong, the energy is limited after all. Hundreds of thousands of Liang people were talking in low voices, and their expressions were all excited. There were also many strong people among them, who explained very clearly. Boom. the momentum of the two people reached its peak and suddenly turned into two streams of light, one gold and one blue, colliding with each other. Countless mushroom clouds emerged from the two people, and the whole planet was shaking. The Kinglang Mecha was covered with a layer of starry sky barrier. Under the violent impact of the terrifying energy, spider web-like cracks appeared. It looked shaky and could break at any time. The protective barrier of the human mecha is about to break. Human strongmen are just so-so. Jert is going to win. Kill him. The Liang people were all very excited at this moment. As expected of the number 1 ranked Sun Warrior, the Sun Clan is a powerful race that deserves the title. In terms of strength and mental strength, they are far superior to me. Xia Xingchen roared, and the mental planet in his mind spun rapidly. The vast mental power rushed out, repairing the cracks on the originally shaky starry sky barrier and restoring it to its original integrity. The starry sky on the barrier was shining brightly. In Xia Xingchen's opinion, the Azure Dragon Mech was a perfect match, except that its attack power was not strong enough. The biggest flaw was Xia Xingchen's own mental power level. At Xia Xingchen's age, he had already become an S-class mech master, a leader among trillions of humans. However, compared with the Sun Clan, who were born strong and mastered the light particle alienation technique and could convert solar energy into mental power, Xia Xingchen's mental power was still too weak. Jert's mental power was extremely strong. According to the human level, it was equivalent to a legendary mech master. This human's mental power is so strong. He can actually withstand my attack. Jert's expression also changed slightly. Jert knew humans very well. When he was adventuring in the universe before, Jert had seen the strength of human mecha masters, and even had the honor of sparring with a reclusive legendary mecha master. Every legendary mecha master is a hero that can be included in the annals of human history. They are powerful and stand at the highest point of human beings. However, for that sparring, Jert gave a 6-word comment: humans, nothing more than that. Based on Xia Xingchen's mental fluctuations, Jert judged that he was an S-class mecha master among humans. There was a big gap between him and the legendary mecha master. However, Jert did not expect that Xia Xingchen could fight him on equal terms. No wonder you dare to challenge our Liang tribe alone. You have some confidence. Jert thought to himself, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, the contempt in his eyes faded, and turned into endless fighting spirit. Human, I recognize you. You have the strength to be my opponent. Golden light holy wings. Condensation. Jert roared suddenly. The rock armor on his body that exuded golden light suddenly changed. A 1,000-meter long golden wing condensed behind him, covering the sky and even blocking the sun. And the momentum of Jert suddenly rose a few points. This is. Xia Xingchen's pupils suddenly shrank to the size of a needle tip. The omniscience field opened instantly, exploring every move around. The golden wing condensed behind Jert was not a rock, but a condensation of spiritual power, shining brightly, like a god descending from heaven. Xia Xingchen's heart also skipped a beat, and the hairs on his body stood up. This wing of light looks very familiar. A familiar figure emerged in Xia Xingchen's mind. The Angel of Light Michael. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.